Hey, man.
Hey, Tys.
Hey, Nick.
Oh, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you, man?
I'm really good.
What a week it has been.
It has been huge.
Huge.
Massive.
Oh, I'm so excited. We're doing our Oscar special today.
I know.
I think it's kind of fun that within only 6 weeks of us starting, we get to have an Oscars special.
I know.
Imagine if we started in like March, late March, and we had to wait a whole year.
It'd be kind of be better though, because you know this is kind of like our grand final, our WrestleMania.
It is.
Yeah.
And what a WrestleMania it was.
It was huge.
But anyway, before we get into all that gear, welcome to Nick, Tys and Videotape.
Hello, everyone.
For all your weekly movie podcast
Talk. Because it's not.
That's
we don't
tagline.
just review things.
No.
We talk about film,
Let's put that on
which
a poster.
I like. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
You can find us at Facebook /Nick Tys Videotape, or you can email us at nicktysandvideotape@gmail.com.
That's true.
You can also find us where, Nick?
Follow us on Twitter.
Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah. Which is at Nick Tys and just Nick Tys Videotape.
Just tweet.
Just tweet at us. Yeah.
Or hashtag. No, don't hashtag.
You can do anything you want.
Okay.
You can send us things. You can hashtag it. You can
Send us things. Do you know what I love? I love memes.
You love me? Really?
I love memes.
Oh, Tyson.
Send me memes.
This is hilarious. Just doing this and getting to know Tys. He loves memes. That's horrible.
Send me memes.
Don't send me memes. I will punch you.
Oh, but there's some really funny ones.
There are some funny ones.
But that's all the different ways you can find us.
That's true.
Please send us anything, really.
Anything you like.
We've got our mailbag section towards the end of the show. And we'd
do.
love to hear from you. You might even get yours read out loud.
Hey.
Hey,
Yeah.
privilege.
Totally.
Let's start off with... Let's do trailer talk.
Let's do trailers.
Trailer talk. Trailers with a Z.
Trailer talk.
We still need a name for this.
We need a name for it.
We do have a designated name for our streaming section.
We've had people talk at us and say, we need an introduction to these segments. And I've said, well...
Get off your fucking ass.
Do us a favour and,
We're doing all this work.
Do me a favour.
Fuck.
And write us in.
We can't do everything.
Exactly. We can't. Punks.
Such punks. So trailers with a Z.
Trailers with a Z. What'd you watch, Tys?
Oh, do you know what I want to talk about? I'm just going to talk about one.
Go on.
I want to talk about the Kong Skull Island trailer.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, so it has... This year has a task ahead of it. Ahead of it?
Yes. You said it right. You just said it too fast.
I know.
It's
I'm
all right.
speaking really quickly today. It's like getting this shit information out there.
Yeah.
2017 has a task for it.
Sure.
It needs to provide a trailer better than this Kong Skull Island trailer.
Really?
Because it is fucking amazing.
Really?
It is the most I've enjoyed a trailer in a very long time.
Really?
It was amazingly good.
Okay, so break it down. Why was it good, Tyson?
The energy was great. The song choices were fantastic.
Okay.
It juggled a really nice sense of humor with the crazy Kong action stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Everyone looks great in it. Everyone looks like they're doing really clever stuff. The Kong special effects look amazing.
So
and it has one of the all-time great end of trailer money shots I think I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
I hooted after I saw it. Like, woohoo! And I'm like, it was involuntary.
That was genuine.
It was absolutely genuine.
Wow.
So
Okay. So you get a sense of the storyline, what's going to happen?
Nah.
No.
No sense.
Well, there you go.
Oh, look,
I'm
basic
out.
sense of storyline.
Okay.
They arrive on Skull Island. And King Kong is there. They meet John C. Reilly, who has been living on the island and has gone a bit bonkers.
Wow, okay.
And he tells them about these creatures that are also on the island, which are perhaps not too accommodating to outsiders.
Okay.
And so it becomes, it's because you can't make Kong the villain. Like, that's not how the movie works.
No.
He's kind of this weirdly heroic figure.
Yeah.
And he always is. So they've obviously, like the Peter Jackson one, there were the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
In this, it's these... it was John C. Reilly tries to call him this name that he thinks is terrifying, and they're
right.
they both kind of look at him like, oh, okay,
that's a
sure.
nice name.
Like, I can't even...
Chuzwazzers.
I don't call them Chuzwazzers.
Yeah.
But it was so great. It was really like, I had
Okay.
more fun in that trailer than I've had like in movies that are meant to be that fun.
Right.
Providing for you, like.
Okay. I don't know. The Logan trailer's been pretty up there for me. Like, it cut you to the quick. I guess that came out last year.
No, I'd pay that. That's fine. That was an excellent trailer
The first
for its intensity and for its kind of, it gave you a bit of a, you got just little clues, little snippets.
Yeah,
whereas
but
I think this is a better indication of the tone of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope, having said that, I keep having these flashbacks to those great Suicide Squad trailers, which I thought were the tone of the film. Turned out that wasn't the tone of the film at all.
They weren't bad guys.
Well, that was that was the forced tone that they tried to put on
true.
after they saw that the trailer was responded to well.
Yeah.
Whereas this actually, I'm hoping this is the tone. It's a bit more adventure. It's in the same universe as the recent Godzilla.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Have they said that?
Yeah.
They've said that?
Yeah, so
Okay.
this is apparently in the build-up to a Godzilla versus Kong
Another versus
Team-up.
movie.
movie.
Goody.
Yeah.
God.
So, and considering that was like the sourest, driest, drabbest
Yeah, it was really...
movie, like it was just so
Yeah.
dry.
I don't know why I watched it.
I watched it because I heard it was going to be good, and it had one great moment in it when he rips open that guy, the giant Mothra's, was it Mothra or something? Rips open its mouth and then breathes the blue fire into it. Do you remember that bit?
No, I don't.
It was stunning.
This is how much of an impression that it made.
It made very little impression on me.
I remember
just
Bryan Cranston died, like it wasn't even a big thing. He
Way
just,
too
like,
early.
fell off a ladder or some shit.
No.
It was... No, I'm kidding. He fell off like a platform or something, didn't he?
So he was caught in some rubble and stuff, but he was alive.
And he fell off a ladder.
No, he was alive in like a hospital bed or something.
Right.
But there was no like grand goodbye or anything.
No,
it was just kind of like
washed over.
Oh, he might be okay. Oh no, he's not gonna be okay. So he didn't even get like a goodbye or like a because it was his dad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was his dad.
Was it his dad?
Yeah.
Or am I making up that? And they had no connection.
I have no idea. No, it was his dad.
Well, I at least expected him to have some kind of like
connection, like a moment, at least
like
have
a little
dying
goodbye moment.
Yeah,
because he was great in that film. He was the only really good thing about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm grading on a curve.
Yeah.
He was adequate
Exactly.
when most others weren't really pulling their weight.
But I prefer, to be honest, the Broderick 90s Godzilla. Do you know what I mean? Like
I find it more watchable.
Yeah.
Because it's such a fucking it's such a train wreck. That 90s one.
Is it Hank Azaria?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hank Azaria.
It's just
amazing.
a shambles. But it's a fun shambles. It's so 90s that you get into it. And you're just like,
exactly.
This
it's a bit
is amazing.
Of fun.
Anyway, so it's the same universe. They're apparently going to team up together. That was so sour and dry. This looks to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I want to spoil the money shot because it was incredible.
I'll go for it. Yeah.
It looks like Kong is about to square off against two of these things, whatever they are.
Whatever they are. Chuzwazzes, yeah.
He gets a tree.
Right.
Pulls a tree out of the ground.
Right.
Runs his hand along it, so he strips it of all the leaves.
So it makes a club.
Right. And just smacks this thing.
Really?
And it looks like it's it's such a cheering to the sky moment.
Made you go woo.
It made me go woo.
Nice.
So I'm keen for that. That actually, I don't know if it's the same for Australia, but this weekend, just on a side note, we get Logan this weekend.
We do get Logan,
and I don't know about you. I'm seeing it Friday night.
Oh, you.
Do you want to come see it on Friday night?
No, I am doing something Friday night. I have plans, but that's okay. When am I going to see it? I'm going to see it on Sunday. I think I have Sunday off.
Okay.
Either that or...
But it's very exciting because we get Logan this weekend.
We get Logan.
Next weekend, I think we get Skull Island. So
that would be nice if we could do like a what did we watch this week and we've both seen Logan.
I think it'll work out
That would be
well.
nice.
Yeah, it will be nice.
Yeah, I'll try and do that.
So
Nice.
we're hitting summer movie season kind of in March.
It's an early
So but it looks like
like
it's
to
kind of
start
just
it early.
blockbusters now every week from here on. Oh, there might be a few dead weeks here and there, but
yeah. Oh, that's true. A lot's coming out.
yeah, so it's a pretty exciting time. And what did you watch?
Trailers wise.
Yeah, sorry, what trailer did you see?
I didn't watch a lot. I glimpsed at the new Alien trailer, but didn't really want to talk about that.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched it. I don't know. I think I've seen enough.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to spoil it for myself, so I've seen enough, but I don't really want to talk about it. The one I do want to talk about is called Wolves. With
I watched this.
With Michael Shannon.
Yes,
I just thought it's a story that's been told before, but it looks interesting to me. It's just about a kid who's growing up with the potential of making it in big in the basketball league. I don't know why I paused there. And they did a little dance.
The basketball league.
The basketball league
the league
shows how much I play sport. So this kid is, he's in high school. He's having colleges look at him, but he's dealing with the fact that he has a father who's a drunk and a gambler. And you get told in the trailer that his father has gambled away the college fund, which is messed up. But yeah, it's more focused on the fact that, you know, dealing with the things that we do growing up, the hurdles like puberty and all of this stuff, and growing up to be a man, if that is a thing, because I don't, yeah. But
for another day.
But yeah. It looks good. It looks interesting.
Yeah, I thought so. It looks
interesting.
that right. I mostly get excited when I see things like that because of Michael Shannon.
Yeah, well, this is what drew me to it, because it's, I don't know why, even though the kid is the main character, but Michael Shannon is fully on the cover.
I feel like whenever you see that he's going to be in something, it immediately adds a certain amount of credibility, because he's so... I just don't see him as the kind of guy that would do a shit film. Like, who would do it, who would read a script and go, but they're going to pay me a bunch of cash, so I'll do it anyway.
True. He doesn't cash it.
He just doesn't seem like he's that kind of guy. He always seems like he will read a script and he will see something in it that he wants to play.
And this, I think, because I watched the whole of Boardwalk Empire.
Sure.
And I just wanted a Michael Shannon movie where he is the center and he just gets to play, because he is the type of actor who can show so many different sides to him. Seeing him I remember when we first watched Boardwalk, seeing him from that, and then I got told that I'd seen him in The Runaways, where he plays the manager, and he's completely different type of character, very campy, very amazing. Compared to his performances in Boardwalk.
Yeah, I mean, he can do a
Versatile
whole bunch
to
of different
and
stuff.
One of my favorite Michael Shannon pieces of acting isn't actually in a film. It's actually him reading out the
sorority letter.
I love it.
I love it.
It's
so
much. Good. So good.
It's some kind of 2 years ago YouTube gold. If you want to go back and check that out, people.
Yeah. But yeah, it actually just looks really, really good.
Yeah, it looks like it's just a nice, solid drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, I get into kind of these things where I'm like, what am I going to watch? You feel like you're in safe hands when you might not like the film, but you feel like you're in safe hands when you see Michael Shannon attached. Yeah. Because he has made like some really killer movies recently. Yeah. Or he's always worth watching, even if the movie's bad.
Goods. Exactly. He's an interesting character. Oh, I saw him in... the last thing I saw him in was Nixon and Elvis.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
That?
No, but I mean, like, I haven't heard that. I heard that movie's not particularly good. But
it was good just to see them play together. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, it didn't.
The idea of Michael Shannon playing Elvis to me is like, I just want to see that,
because he doesn't look anything like him. If you were to go, okay, who are we going to get to play Elvis? How about Michael Shannon? Well, no, the man is clearly like 6'9", and
then again, you've got Bruce Campbell in Bubba Hotep
playing
Elvis.
Yeah.
I think he was incredible. He looks nothing like
Was he
him.
good?
Yeah, that's a really great movie.
But yeah, he was really good in that. Really good in that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
all right. Well, there are trailers for this week.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna smash it through because I'm so keen to get to some Oscar talk.
But
what did you watch this week?
Just to talking again about a lovely palette cleanser. So because I watched back-to-back nominations.
Sure. This was last week as well. You had a palette cleanser.
Yeah, which we'll get to. So yeah, I had to cleanse the palette again.
Sure.
And because of our three previous episodes, I'm kind of stuck in an 80s phase, which is fine.
It's the best phase to be in.
Exactly.
I think.
It's when things were. It was a simpler time. It was beautiful. So I watched the very first Karate Kid, 1984 amazingness. God, it's a good movie.
Such a good movie.
It's so good. It's so great. You know.
It feels like it should be kind of ironically good, and then you're watching it, and you realize that it is actually just legitimately a good movie.
It's just a good movie. Yeah, exactly.
It's a really great movie. It's really well put together. Pat Morita is doing a beautiful job.
Yeah.
Something that kind of gets almost watered down as the movies move on. I think he's always good in them, but there's this real beauty that he brings to this first one.
Yeah.
And it's lovely. So some of the work he does. The scene with when he's drunk, and he's talking to his dead wife is just
amazing,
beautiful stuff.
Oh my God,
really lovely, and always gets me kind of funny for a movie where. You go in as a kid and you're like, I want to be Daniel because I just want to fucking love karate and shit.
Yeah.
And then even as a kid, you're watching it and you feel really you get emotionally connected to Mr. Miyagi even as like a 12-year-old kid watching it.
Absolutely.
And I think that's kind of...
Because you grow up with him, and it's just good writing because Daniel, and it's not really talked about, the fact that the character of Daniel doesn't have a father figure.
Yeah, exactly.
Or doesn't have a father. Mr. Miyagi is that for him.
Yeah.
And like dealing with so many other things, the fact of being bullied...
it's really a very
so
good demonstration of bullying. It's not it's realistic. I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous that a movie called Karate Kid can be realistic, but
it was.
It kind of was similar to some of the bullying that I experienced.
Yeah, really.
Like just in that term where it's like it's not like I had karate club feuds or anything, because that would have made my fucking what a life, man. As if I didn't. Makes me upset now.
Yeah.
But just that kind of the physical intimidation of the cool guys, the way it became like, it's obviously it's not just an Australian thing, but that ability for certain people who are the tough ones to be threatening, physically,
because they're bigger,
because they're just bigger dudes.
Exactly.
And like when you're in a situation where you're like, dude, I'm 16 years old, I don't know how to fucking punch a dude, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. If you're going to threaten me, I am kind of, because I don't know,
and you don't want to admit that to yourself, that you are scared,
But so it demonstrated it pretty well.
It does.
God, and seriously, I'm a blubbering mess at the end of that movie. That's one of those. That's really, it's that courage thing that I talked about.
Just that build up. The montage of him when he's finally in the contest at the end, and the song kicks in, that is the immortal song that everyone loves to work out to. Tell me you don't. I do. But
that's a good choice, actually.
But and then it works up to the end fine, and I was on the edge of my seat. I've seen this movie a billion times. I'm
many times.
This is so good.
And Bill Conti, who wrote the score, is doing an incredible job, job with that music. There's the pan flute theme, which is just beautiful.
Which is throughout. Yeah.
The way that that music just swells straight after the kick and the winner.
Yeah.
And it just everyone jumps up and the music swells, and I'm just like,
you're there.
I'm overflowing with
exactly.
like emotional kind of release at that point.
So good.
And say what you want about the fact that it's a dumb movie about kids playing karate. For a movie that has that ability, like that is manufactured that way, that can really do that. I mean, that's exactly. Kind of what we want out of movies.
And it was so quintessential, like the killer soundtrack with like the Bangles and
Cruel Summer,
man. Cruel Summer, and the pop culture wax on, wax off. Like how many times has that been referenced now? Like,
that whole idea of the tasks.
To learn
the
like
skills.
How good was that? Like when he finally he's painting. I don't want to be one of those guys. How good's this bit? But when he's painting the house and you're just upset. Like I wish I remember the first time watching that, because at that point you're like, he's just doing chores. What the fuck is going on?
I paid to watch a movie called Karate Kid, man.
Yeah, what the hell? And then he comes out with that end of the thing and he's like, show me.
Yeah, show me wax on and wax off.
Wax off. And
I love how
yells
intense
he
is when he's doing it with the height.
Yeah.
Height. And he's like fully going full out.
Yeah, he's punching. He's trying to punch him. Yeah.
It's great.
So yeah, I palate cleansed with the Karate
Good choice,
Kid.
man. Good choice. I try to do all three of them.
Well, this is
every
the thing.
Couple of years.
It's gonna kick it off now.
Secret fan of the second one. I know
huge.
A lot of people don't
huge.
rate it. I love the second one, and the third one is bonkers, like batshit crazy, and it's so watchable for that reason, because you get Terry Silver as the crazy
bad guy.
Yeah. And
but
when what's his name's like, hey, do me a favor, make his knuckles bleed, and he's like,
and you're like,
I love it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make his knuckles bleed, man. It's like, these guys fucking crazy.
Really full on.
Really full on.
So yeah,
Awesome. That's a good one, man.
Yeah.
It made me want to watch Karate Kid.
See, there you go.
Look, all of mine, I've got Oscar movies to talk about this week, so we might just save it for the Oscar chat.
Save it for when we talk about it. Okay.
I think that might be the way to go.
All right.
Why don't we just fucking do this thing?
The Oscars.
The Oscars 2017.
2017. What is it? Their 84th Academy Awards.
I didn't take note, to be honest. What a ride.
It was insane, wasn't it? It was.
Look, and it's become. I mean, it's
89th,
become
I was wrong.
89th. Oh man, we're 11 years away from what is going to be a fucking incredible show,
and we better be there.
Yeah. I mean, it's become pop culture legend now. What happened at the end of this award ceremony?
That's true.
So maybe we'll get to there.
We'll save it to the end. There. Yeah. But how opening? Okay, let's talk about, because we knew about who was hosting. Were you excited about the host?
No, look, I'm in the rankings of the late nighters.
Sure.
Kimmel's kind of with the James Corbin for me. He's kind of he's around the bottom end.
Yeah, he is. Like I'm not a huge fan. I wasn't excited.
No, and look, well, like for instance, someone that I thought was going to be an excellent host and someone who I thought was actually incredibly enjoyable because they actually took some chances was Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy fame.
Oh, yeah. That's who...
He got a fucking awful review at the end of it because he was...
But I thought he did okay.
Because, well, you know what? Like, you can't... My thing is, you can't go on... I feel like when Ellen hosted, for example...
Who I love.
I love Ellen.
But
you can't go on and do an episode of Ellen.
Yeah. Well, isn't that what our host did? Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah.
It was an episode
he came
of
up
Jimmy
and
Kimmel.
It was just an episode of his show.
Yeah.
And I was... Look, he had some funny lines and he was quite amicable as a host, but it didn't really do much for me. I like the grand kind of like, we're trying something really dumb here and we're going to see if it works.
Like Hugh Jackman's, when he hosted. Do you remember that?
Oh my God.
It was on a budget. It was right in the middle of the recession and he did musical numbers.
Yeah.
And he did them well.
He did. My favourite one of those was... when he was doing this big montage and all the dances were like related to the film.
Yeah.
But then they got to the reader and it became like this weird robot dance. And I was like, what is this? Right. And he goes like this, the reader, I didn't get to see the reader. And then they move on.
That's amazing.
Because it was my favourite.
See, there you go.
I was like, that's so clever because it's so true. Because that was the movie that everyone was like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. What's this movie that got him in Dark Knight? We should have got nominated. Yeah. The Reader. And so nobody fucking saw it. Yeah. And so it was so perfect.
It was weird. Yeah. So yeah, last year was Chris Rock. 2015 was Neil Patrick Harris.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah. 2014, Ellen DeGeneres. 2013, Seth MacFarlane. And then you've got
so yeah,
Billy Crystal.
Jimmy Fallon hasn't yet. So he's surely got to be on the list. You're not interested?
No.
Because you're worried about it just being an episode of one of their shows?
No, because if you were to talk about people, late night hosts who are dead last, he is dead last. I think he is way too nice.
Oh, Fallon's, you're dead last.
Sorry, he is dead last. I'm not a fan of Fallon.
Right up on the top of my list.
No. Give it to Colbert, okay? See what he does with the Oscars.
Yeah, Colbert has worn... Well, this is a whole nother conversation. Colbert, I think, was excellent as Colbert.
Yep.
I don't think
he's as good
now. I think because he took over Letterman, man.
Which I've heard is, it's a big deal.
They are big shoes to fill, that his show has dropped below Fallon's and Seth Meyers for me now. Yeah, and that was Letterman. That was Letterman. He was always the top of my list. You know, I was never a Leno guy. I was never any of the other ones. I was never a Conan O'Brien guy. No. I was always.
I've
always been a Letterman
recently
guy.
Got into Conan and Leno recently.
Sure.
Actually, because of Comedians in Cars.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah. So just do someone else. Whoopi Goldberg, or there are all these amazing other actors who you could get other than TV show hosts.
Yeah, it takes a certain amount of charisma. I mean, you've got to think, remember when they tried that with Franco and Anne Hathaway?
Which was the worst.
That was probably one of the worst.
Worst ones. It really was.
It was a bit nasty.
Yeah. So anyway.
So your overall impression of the night, how do you think it was? Would you rank it as one of the more successful?
It was okay. It did its job. It wasn't a standout by any means.
No, it wasn't a standout. But
I
don't think I'll remember anything except the fuck-ups. Because there were a few.
Yeah, there were.
And I think that's what I'm going to remember
There
more than
were
anything.
well, from this Oscars, you're going to remember the last thing that happened.
We're always going to remember that year when
yeah.
they fucking read the wrong
Read
name.
the wrong name.
Like that's always going to be.
It's going to be this
the
year,
conversation.
Yeah. But yeah.
Well, see, I even remember it. One of my favorite moments was
Go on.
the lovely young lady who was singing the song from Moana
And got smacked.
smacked in the head with one of the flying waves
Yeah.
of material waves.
A flag thing.
And I love that
she
it hit her
didn't
in the head.
She didn't miss a beat. Hat off
my
to
God.
her. She did not miss a beat.
She was
and isn't
incredible.
she 16?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard she just
Dude.
got cast in something too. A television series,
Oh.
I believe, and
Okay.
one that I was kind of half interested in. Perhaps a genre television show of some description.
Well, isn't that good?
Give it a googs.
I love you just wave at me like that.
You're like,
enough.
you are my
Fair
Google.
enough.
You're like my
I'm
Siri.
Googs. Fair enough. Do you even remember her name? Oh, she was in Moana.
Yeah, she did the voice of Moana. But she was stunning. She sang it so well, and like to cop that in the head
What a
and
champ.
just keep plowing through.
in like front of
Incredible.
billions of people
Yeah.
live. Like
How'd you feel about JT opening the show?
so I'm not a huge fan of Justin Timberlake.
Okay, that is a
I-
controversial statement.
Sorry about that. Yes, I'm not a fan of Justin Timberlake. Let me clarify. As
Sure.
an actor, okay,
Huh.
as a musician,
Sure.
as a pop star, the guy knows his stuff
Yeah.
and he writes a mean song.
Sure.
Okay, stick to that though. The
Okay.
fact that he dipped his toe a couple of years ago in the acting pool, get the fuck out.
Oh,
okay,
that's
there
interesting.
are
I kind
other
of- I kind of
exactly.
enjoy him
No,
as an actor.
There are other people who are way more qualified who can do your job way better than you. Get the hell out of my
Yeah,
fucking. You know.
but he brings a certain energy though that
no.
I quite liked him in Alpha Dog. I thought he was excellent in Alpha Dog, and I thought he did something in Social Network that needed.
He played himself.
He
Tys.
needed that. You needed that swagger, I think, to make that character work.
I'll let him pass with Social Network because he played.
And
prick.
he is funny. He is exceptionally funny.
in Social Network.
No, like he's a very funny guy. So
guy.
I'll watch him in comedies happily.
I don't mind him on SNL. He can.
In the digital shorts, he was hilarious in Pop Star.
Oh, see, I haven't seen it yet. I
Yeah.
should still see it. The TV series that you're talking about is Drama High.
Oh yeah, okay.
Is that good?
No, I've got no idea. It
You
sounded
made me look.
interesting. But it's a television show about a drama school, and I think the production it's created by someone with some
with some artistic integrity,
well, awesome.
or are they a writer from Glee?
I don't think I don't think they're going the Glee angle.
Okay.
I think they're going a bit more serious. It's
bit more
not Ryan
serious.
Murphy and his 77th different show that he's
Okay,
releasing this season.
Awesome. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of his opening because I like a nice. Do you know what I like? I like an Oscars opening with a montage of film.
I like one that
Years ago when Tom Cruise came out and he introduced us to film, what it was, and we have a nice montage of beautiful moments.
Sure.
Those are the moments I love. But the thing was, when he came out with this song, everyone had to dance. It was a bit of fun. I didn't know. I forgot that it was nominated. That's why it got passed for me. I was like, oh, okay, it was a nominated song. Well, of course, play it. You know, it was fine.
Yes, Trolls has an Academy Award nomination. It's kind of ridiculous, really.
Yeah.
See, this is
Especially,
so
we'll come to it.
It happened, and
Sure.
I'm watching it. And this year it's a tough year because the Hollywood is getting a pretty bad rap at the moment.
Right.
Just on a worldwide stage.
Yeah.
We're kind of in a position now, and we it's hard. We don't want to get political about an event like this, but it is impossible
very
not
hard
to because we're so the artistic community is so divided. Is the part of the division at the moment. We're not divided internally.
No.
We are one side of it.
Yeah.
You very rarely find people that are in the artistic community that are also
voting for Donald Trump.
voting Donald Trump
Yeah.
and kind of liberal, liberal here.
But yes.
I
know what you're saying.
And so, but liberal-minded is the word that we all kind of are as artists. You know, we are accepting as people. We, we want cultures to mesh because that's how we learn about
Exactly.
art. That's how we can share our art with each other. And so, I know why they did it because I think if they'd come out and done this self-indulgent, the power of film, I think it would have played to the negativity of that. And I think people just needed to realize that, hey, do you know what? We can still have a good time while we're doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wasn't against that choice. Totally. I think it was kind of clever. He had them all up. And that's, if you're going to get someone to do that, you get JT because he's an expert at it.
Exactly.
And I think he set up a nice energy and a good vibe. I think this year did lack some of that kind of reverence for film though, which I do love, but I understand why.
I totally agree with what everything you just said. But yeah, it just was, I like the celebration. The Oscars is a celebration for film.
But that's it, and we should just be allowed to celebrate how we want.
Absolutely.
But you've just the it would have been tweeted.
Yeah,
within a minute,
30 seconds.
About how self-indulgent, how how overrated this, so they had to play at a different angle.
Yeah.
I did love the 3-beat of you had Charlize and Shirley MacLaine in the they sit and they watch the film and they talk about how it inspired them, and then
Seth Rogen and Michael J. Fox,
which was lovely, and then of course the great 3-beat gag of Kimmel watching We Bought a Zoo.
We Bought a Zoo. Oh.
Which made the other two, because the other two you watch them and you're like, okay, well that's a nice kind of touch. It's nice to bring out a couple of presenters that way.
Yeah.
But the 3-beat made it all worth it.
Because he ripped into We Bought a Zoo. He ripped into it. Like, it was beautiful. Have you seen We Bought a Zoo?
I'm a sucker for Cameron Crowe's over sentimentality. Yeah. So I can watch We Bought a Zoo and enjoy it because he appeals to me on a certain level. Cameron Crowe.
Yeah.
I don't think he's any
Cameron
longer
Crowe.
making good movies.
Yeah.
I think they're not. He's not the filmmaker he once was in any way, shape, or form. But they still appeal to me on a very kind of base emotional level. So. I watched We Bought a Zoo, and at the end, I'm like, I love it. I want a zoo.
That was awesome.
Like, I want to go get a zoo.
You want a zoo? Really? That is great.
It's the power of movies, man.
It's rad that it had that effect on you.
So that was kind of, that was effective. And, but then you had stuff like, I think the bussing in the tour guide thing was a good gag that went on way too long.
It was nice to see like genuine reactions to someone seeing Ryan Gosling for the first time.
Shout out to my friend Bebo, who I watch the Oscars with every year. I said this to him as well. I was like, it's unfortunate that the people they're going to bring in probably aren't even that big movie fans, because you wouldn't be taking the tour on Oscar night. You'd be watching the Oscars.
Yeah, wow, I didn't think of that.
You know what I mean? So these people who probably, I don't understand, did they even know the Oscars were on? Because you'd think the kind of people you'd want to surprise with that surprise would know that the Oscars were on and would be at home watching it.
Exactly. So, you'd get someone
Not that you can't be a fan of movies and you have to watch the Oscars. I know a lot of people that don't enjoy the whole idea of the Oscars, and that's totally fine. That's 100% your prerogative. But I found it weird. It was kind of like,
grab like the people who lined up first at the red carpet to take a photo. Grab
those people and say, oh, hey, we're gonna, and we take them through some back rooms and say, look, we're gonna let you come in for a special photo op later on the night, and then go, oh, by the way, it's through that door, and then see their faces just like they would lose their minds. I do love the picture that's floating around of Ryan Gosling whispering into that woman's ear,
and her just
and her face of just
out.
Like, oh shit.
And I love how when Jimmy Kimmel was talking to the main guy, the first
guy,
he just wouldn't let his phone down. He literally was just phoning the whole time. And this is what we've become.
It was. Yeah. And it's like, it's like, put the phone down and actually take some of this
experience what's happening to you, man.
You're going to miss it. You're going to walk out and go, look what happened to me in my phone that you will have no physical memory of. You'll only remember the phone.
You'll only remember the phone.
But God, and that was, so that was clever, but went on too long.
The other weird things that I found was when because we'll get to the movies at one stage, I'm sure. But yeah, when you would get someone who wins an Oscar, they would say a speech, you would see them walk into the background, and for some reason they've got an iPad. The people in the techs in the backstage have an iPad opened up to. Did you see this? Opened up to the Instagram for the Oscars. I'm like, what kind of fuck? There was
the really awkward one where the girl was holding it and she'd clearly been told, look, we're going to pan in over your shoulder. And she was holding it like no one had ever held an iPad. Like, this weird. She was on this weird angle, but kind of half looking at it, and it was They tried to make moments, but this is the thing. Like the Oscars, obviously they're produced by different people almost every year. They try to get different blood through. So there are people doing things that they think will be a good idea. That I think the second year they would go, no, that didn't work.
That didn't work at all.
And unfortunately, you just get a lot of that.
Yeah.
I also found the music choices to be really cliched. And
and they played them more than once. They played some more than once.
Yeah.
I was like, what? You've got a plethora of music.
The amount of music you could use, and I'm a sucker for the Jurassic Park theme or something like that, and I didn't even get it. It didn't even get a run.
No.
It was this weird kind of pop music, but the kind of stuff that you wouldn't play anymore because it's like, oh no, don't play that when they walk up. Let's find something else. It was it was odd choices.
It was random. It was very random. Yeah.
Yeah. So look, on the whole, it was just okay. It was memorable for perhaps the wrong reasons, and if it wasn't for that, it would have probably been mostly forgettable.
Yeah.
I think
one of my my favorite bits, which was a bit Jimmy Kimmel show, that the riffing on Matt Damon was pretty great. Was probably the best part that he did. Yeah, amazing.
And it's so funny because it assumes a lot of the people watching. It assumes that everyone knows about this hilarious fake feud between the two of them.
Yeah, which was so funny.
Which is it is hilarious. And if you haven't watched those YouTube videos, you need to watch them.
Yeah, they're really funny.
What's it called? Is it I fucked Matt Damon?
Is it? Yeah.
Sarah Silverman sings it.
I'm going out with Matt Damon?
I think it might be more to the point.
More to the point?
I think it might. I think, yeah. Anyway, okay. And they are quite hilarious and they're well worth watching. And that spawned this wonderful, whenever Matt Damon appears on Jimmy Kimmel, he always finds some way to make it really uncomfortable for him. Well, shall we talk about some movies?
Sure. Shall we start at the start?
Well, yeah, we don't really need to talk about every award, I don't think.
Absolutely not. I would like to get your opinions on something.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Full disclosure, I'm having possibly the worst year of Oscar watching in my lifetime.
That's okay.
Since becoming kind of like a big Oscar fan. I've still followed the process. I make a kind of... I have like a timetable where I follow from week to week from about probably around July is when I start.
July?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I know a lot of pretty much everything about what's going on. I just haven't gotten around to seeing the movies this year, which has been really frustrating, but that's the nature of the game, unfortunately.
That's what happens.
And so I can't really talk about
That's okay.
Have an opinion about many of the winners.
Yeah.
Except to say that whether or not they were statistically going to win, because I can pretty much tell you all that information.
Yeah.
Quite effectively.
Okay, well, I'm literally the other side of the coin.
Well, there you go.
I tried to... this is the second year that I've actually accomplished this feat, is I try to watch every Best Picture nomination, but I also like to do Best Actress and Best Actor nomination. Great. So I watch everything.
Awesome.
And normally they cross over anyway. So
there's always plenty of crossover.
So yeah, that's okay. We'll start from the top. Best Supporting Actor. Alicia Vikander, she won...
last year for the Danish Girl.
And I kind of like that they do that.
It's a nice tradition.
Yeah,
it is good.
It's nice. I like that tradition. But Best Supporting Actor. And it was... I wrote it down. Mahershala
Ali. I had the same problem yesterday and I was told how to do it. And I was like, oh, great.
Mahershala Ali.
Look, apparently, greatest thing ever.
His performance?
Yeah. Was almost guaranteed to win.
Look, it was good.
According to all statistics.
It was good. This is the thing, and I guess this is just going to come up against...
Was it not long enough?
Yeah. Okay, and I'm fine with that. I know, Anthony Hopkins won for Silence of the Lambs, and he was on for 20 minutes.
Yeah. And that was also Best Actor. That wasn't even supporting actor. That was back in the day where that would never, ever happen again. Never in a million years.
Exactly. But it was good. His performance was awesome. I like Mahershala a lot. I think he's good.
I'm a big fan of his,
really
and I'm glad he's kind of popped up because he's one of those guys that is so good at what he does that I didn't realize how many movies I had seen with him in
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
until
exactly.
Until I went and checked his IMDb and was like,
I've seen a shitload.
cool.
Yeah.
So he's great, and it's good to see him get recognized for that.
But yeah, just to give it a little bit more depth. So Jeff Bridges, Hell or High Water, Lucas Hedges, Manchester by the Sea, Dev Patel, Lion, and Michael Shannon for Nocturnal Animals.
Sure.
Manchester by the Sea, no. He was way too young, and he was a fair chunk of that film, but it shouldn't even really be nominated.
Sure.
This is my opinions, but
Yeah, let's do it.
Jeff Bridges, my money was either on Jeff Bridges or Dave Patel.
Sure.
Like, they really, the outstanding performances that you're going to put in there, it was those two for me.
No, fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah, it was... Yeah.
I saw Hell or High Water, and I thought Jeff Bridges was excellent. I don't think... I mean, for me, it was always a bit kind of like, how can you nominate him and not nominate the other two boys? I think it was such a combined effort between the three of them.
Yeah.
But, that's fine. Sometimes that's how it works out. But I thoroughly enjoyed his performance, even though he's getting into that habit of doing this
same cowboy character every time. Yep.
I'd like him to kind of give that a rest. But when he does it well, it's still incredibly effective.
Exactly. Just change it up a bit.
Yeah.
We know you can. Like, we've seen you do
of course.
it. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, great.
Moving on. Let's talk about the songs, Tys. We'll just do that segment for the songs. So, you had JT at the start. Then you had the... what was the name?
Did we get the Moana song first, or did we get the two songs from La La Land first?
No, you got the... Moana song.
We got
first.
Moana. Then you got
Sting. Yeah.
Fucking love Sting.
I love Sting. And then you got the two La La Land.
As like a little medley.
Now, I have a question.
Sure.
Especially because I know what one of your favourite movies of last year was.
Right. It's an outrage.
Are you pissed, Tys?
Oh, look, not enough people people mustn't have seen it. It's the only solution to that.
Yeah. So just to tell people what I'm talking about, I'm talking about the fact that Tys's favorite movie, sorry, what was it called again?
Sing Street.
Yeah. Had amazing songs. Like
it did. Yeah. It had 5 or 6 that were at least equal to, if not better, to anything that was played that night. And that, look, it's okay. The movie itself didn't have a lot of exposure.
But still, the songs themselves were...
I thought that the songs would do enough, mostly because, if not... because anyone who saw it talked about how great the songs were, but also because it comes from the makers of a film that won for Best Song only...
Exactly. How many years ago? Yeah.
With Falling Slowly from Once.
Yeah.
Which... It was so easy for it then. Yeah. That song just entered the culture, and everyone was like, "It's going to win. It's definitely going to win. It's beautiful."
Yeah.
It's the same songwriters. Well, I mean, some of the same songwriters, same director of the film, same writer of the film. So it's clearly like his next kind of thing. Begin Again, also, which was his second film, also had a Best Song nomination.
Oh right, I didn't know that. Cool.
So it seems really interesting for him to have left this one off.
Yeah.
All I can think of is that in the nomination process that they kind of split themselves out.
I just don't...
Because there were maybe so many people, because you could honestly pick any of 4 or 5 of them to be in that spot.
Yeah. And
so if it was me, I'd struggle to choose which one. Maybe some people had the same feeling, and we all kind of didn't coordinate our message and just rally behind one. So it is disappointing, but what can you do?
Yeah.
And, I'm not the biggest fan of that La La Land song either. Personally, it was the Sting song for me, based on hearing them.
It was good.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was very nice. It was very Sting.
It
wasn't remarkable in any way. It was just very effective, simple songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
That... I had no context to the song, but I found it quite moving. But that was never going to win. It was really the only thing that was challenging the La La Land song, I think, was the possibility of making Lin-Manuel Miranda an EGOT The idea of the Emmy,
Him
Grammy,
winning,
Oscar, and Tony.
I actually wanted him to win that.
Which, it's fine. That'd be great. It's always nice when especially someone who originates in music theatre, which is obviously something that I'm very, close to me. It's nice to see that. I don't think that song deserved the adulation it's getting.
Yeah.
I liked Moana a lot. I actually found the music to be one of the weaker aspects of it. It just didn't gel for me, the idea on the whole. Some of them did, some of them really did, but especially that song, that's, I think, just a kind of a boring example of the Disney princess song, which we've seen so many times over.
But I'm so sick of that La La Land song. I'm just so sick of it.
Well, this is the oversaturation of it.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about this a bit later. I want to save up my conversation for that towards the end.
Sure.
But yeah, that's the song. Why don't we just talk about some select kind of awards, I think, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Were you happy to see Viola Davis win Best Supporting Actress?
She was the one that out of all the nominations for acting, supporting and best, she was my number one. She has to win it. And
apparently very well deserved. I love a bit of snot acting.
She does. I don't.
No, I really
I'm in my head,
it makes me feel awkward.
The director's like, cut, man, clean her up, shit. Like, crying is crying, but you don't need to,
It's part of this it's part of this kind of movement towards well, it's probably always been around, but I just feel like the snot acting is taking it to this next level of realism.
Yeah.
Where people are like, check it out, man. I don't even fucking care that there's snot all over my mouth. I'm acting, man. It's a bit of the Leos in Revenant kind of style. Whereas in Revenant, it felt like a product of the environment. Whereas in this, I watch that and I'm kind of like, it makes me feel a little awkward. I get a little awkward.
It's just like, why hasn't the director cut yet and cleaned her up?
Okay, guys, we can just watch the take where she didn't booger all over herself.
Do you know what I mean?
It's fine. I'm not going to think any less of her performance.
It's still going to be top notch.
I might just be less distracted.
Exactly. Yeah, it is a bit distracting.
And
did you see Fences Though Ties?
No.
Oh, it was amazing.
I'll tell you, man. It's going to be really embarrassing.
No, that's okay.
The way I talk about this. Didn't say it.
Didn't say it.
Didn't say it. Fences is very high on my want to see list.
Yeah, it should be.
There are a few.
It's Fences, Moonlight, and Lion. Like,
I've talked a lot about with friends of mine the movies that will. I've said, and I've even said this to you. Yeah. Life is short. You can only see so many movies.
Oh, absolutely.
And every year there are movies that are nominated for Best Picture that do fit that category to me, or even have like are kind of up there in the awards.
Yeah.
Like speaking of Alicia Vikander from before,
amazing.
Vikander.
Yeah.
I'm never going to watch The Danish Girl.
Really?
Life is short. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Like it might be great.
Yeah.
So are a whole bunch of other movies.
Yeah.
And
like
Life
the Karate Kid.
Like the Karate fucking Kid. I'm going to watch that for the 27th time.
Fuck yeah.
Instead of watching the Danish Girl.
Yeah, I see your point.
So,
I
don't hold any kind of negativity to anyone that sets out and wants to watch those kind of movies.
Absolutely not.
That's great, man. That's you have more patience than I do. But there are certain movies that just do not appeal to me on a simple, do I want to see this level?
Yep.
Telling me it's really great, the acting's incredible, the story is really moving. It's nominated. I'm like,
that's fine. The trailer didn't do it for me.
I'm still not drawn to that movie.
Yeah.
Fences, on the other hand, I'm incredibly drawn to. I really want to see that.
Yeah. All right. That's okay. So did you see?
No. The chances are the answer's no.
So you didn't see?
I've only seen 3. I saw 3 out of them.
No. I'm talking about in other years.
Oh, in other years.
So did you see Slumdog Millionaire?
Yes.
Okay. Is that because it won Best Picture?
No, I saw it before, but I knew it was on the train to Winnersville.
Okay. No, I understand. Look, I didn't watch everything. I'm not going to watch Nocturnal Animals. That thing looked like shit.
Oh, see, I'd definitely watch that. No. Tom Ford.
No way. Pass. I love Tom Ford, but no. So yeah, that's leading actress.
That was supporting actress.
Oh, that was supporting.
Just because just as a little kind of side note, I think we'll focus on some of the bigger awards, but I did want to mention a few of the small tech ones because I found that's where most of the surprises of the night happened. Funnily enough,
yeah.
Based on based on a lot of the things, because like I said, I do follow pretty kind of heavily the precursors to all the awards, the festivals, and all the Critics Awards and everything like that. So I've got a pretty good idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
And there were a few surprises found in the technical awards. I don't think anyone was particularly expecting Fantastic Beasts to win costume. That was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
Although, as my friend Bebo said, if we stupidly, when we were just looking through our heads, we should have seen that it was Colleen Atwood who did it, because she's
literally won so
like
many
Oscar
Oscars.
royalty.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing working in its favor is, well, not obviously the costumes were great, but something like Jackie was much more heavily favored to win that category. When you've got someone like Colleen Atwood, though, you do underestimate the recognition of name value in those categories.
Oh.
Because you've got to remember, everyone votes. Only the department nominate, everyone votes in the end.
Wow.
So you got to think about all the people in the millions of Oscars who have no idea about whether a costume is good or not, who sees Colleen Atwood's name and goes, I've worked with Colleen, she's awesome. Vote.
Wow, really?
So you've got to, kind of watch your eye for that stuff.
That's fucking horrible, isn't it?
No, I don't look. That's the way it's going to go.
You should go.
They probably look at it and go, they look good costumes. Oh, and Colleen, I'll give it a vote.
Yeah. All right.
It's one of the the Oscars. You can argue back and forth about the voting procedures, but that's how
it
they
happens. Yeah, exactly.
And
so,
there are things that people want to change, like. I'm an advocate for only the actual departments
voting for that department.
Voting for that department.
That's a really good idea.
What ultimately does, though, is it heavily limits the amount of votes, because when you've got smaller departments like your makeup department, there's probably only a couple of hundred members of the Academy that are makeup and hairstyling artists.
Yeah.
So it's the other alternative is to group all the technical awards and have the technical members of the Academy vote for those.
Yeah.
And then to vote the creative award. Well, that's kind of harsh on technical people. What they do is incredibly creative. But the actors vote for the actors.
Yeah.
And then everyone can vote director and film. Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of nice.
Which
I would kind of I would kind of like, not that this will ever happen because of, hilariously enough, like you just said, not many people get to watch everything.
Yeah.
Ticking the box of have you watched these films? Have you watched all of them? Okay, yes. Okay, now you're allowed to vote. Does that make sense? Giving it a bit more, like this would never happen. This is a dream that I'm just saying here. But
you're right, though. It should be a prerequisite.
It should be a prerequisite that you have to have seen these films.
It's not. It's not, and
it's not going to be. And instead, that Colleen Atwood is going to get the tick.
Yeah,
and that's why, because I thought it was going to be Jackie. I thought it was because the costumes in that were amazing.
Yeah, and there's something to be said for an incredibly accurate representation of a certain period of time,
exactly,
as opposed to like very, very colourful and very well designed, but ultimately fantasy based.
Created.
So it's kind of it's 12 of one, dozen of the other. Yeah. That's not the saying. It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Anyway, but and we also, so that's where a film like Hacksaw Ridge also happened to pick up an award.
Yep.
Which
was sound editing?
Yeah. No, it was sound mixing, actually. This was the interesting thing. Sound editing and sound mixing.
Would you like to tell our audience the difference?
Yeah, sure, man. Well, sound editing is the process of actually creating the sounds. So we're talking, this is the kind of one that acknowledges the Foley artists, the digital creation of sounds, the people that go out and record trash cans hitting together and edit them into other things.
Yep.
Whereas mixing is the overall balance of everything coming together: the dialogue, the score, the sound effects, and when it's used for a creative effect. That's obviously what stands out a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I had this the other way around. I had in my head, I had Hacksaw Ridge for sound editing,
right?
And well, I didn't actually have a rival for sound mixing, but I thought that would be a good choice because the sound is very effectively used in Arrival. So I found it very odd that it went the other way around, because I felt like the artificial sound in Arrival I didn't think was that particularly impressive, and I didn't think the mixing of sound in Hacksaw Ridge was particularly impressive either.
Are you saying you swapped them over?
I'm saying that I thought it would go the other way than what it did.
Because
which I found interesting. So Arrival won for editing, and there's some very effective moments. I like the way the sound of the aliens. There was some very cool stuff with that. Shit, but other than that,
what else was there?
It was mixing to me. It was all mixing.
Where if you look at Hacksaw Ridge, the sounds coming from that would have been a fucking bitch to do.
Yeah, and something I didn't like that movie at all. But one thing I did respect about it is the real kind of visceral nature of the war scenes, and the sound effects played a big part in that. And that wasn't mixing. They're creating these sounds. Like because you don't go and just
blow someone's head off.
You don't put up just a boom mic while they actually go to war. Like that's not how it works. Everything is created from the ground up. All the explosions, all the gunshots, all the sounds of flesh. Like my god, the sounds of the flesh.
Close-ups of bodies hitting dirt.
And so I found that really effective in Hacksaw Ridge. So it was weird. Usually I'm okay at predicting those. They're kind of two that when we do like our Oscar pools, I know a lot of people struggle with those, but I'm usually okay with them because I kind of can see into the idea what they're looking for.
Exactly.
And I got it completely opposite. So I found that really strange.
Okay.
Yeah. There's one other technical award I would like to have a chat about. And let's have a chat about the Makeup and Hairstyling Award, Nick.
Now, there's kind of I literally thought it was a no-brainer. I thought, going in, and there's only 3 films that are, which is kind of odd to me because I feel that
it's for some reason Makeup and Hairstyling they only ever tend to nominate 3.
Why is that?
I don't understand. I should Google that and figure that out. I think give it a Googs. I think there must be a technical kind of law rule to do with that.
But anyway, you had Star Trek Beyond, you had Suicide Squad, and you had A Man Called Uwe, which I'd never heard of before in my life. But it went to Suicide Squad.
It went to Suicide Squad, which is... Okay, so...
Go for it.
In the past, sometimes there's been this movie in the makeup section, a movie that is kind of embarrassing that it has an Oscar nomination, but it's for makeup. Like something like when Norbert got a nomination in this character too, the Eddie Murphy movie.
Really?
Because he played a woman in a fat suit.
Yep.
And the makeup was pretty incredible. So they do reward that kind of stuff.
Looked like a woman.
But the nomination usually is that film's victory. They don't ever tend to give it to that movie because it is embarrassing to say Norbert Academy Award winner. And I just double check actually that it didn't win. I hope it didn't win. I'm sure it didn't win.
Oh, yeah, look it up.
Go on,
no, go. Yeah.
So yes, the Academy tries to avoid winning, giving the victory to the film that maybe shouldn't have Academy Award winner next to its title.
That's a bit harsh.
I thought that was going to be Suicide Squad. I just didn't think that they would be comfortable putting Academy Award winner next to
Suicide Squad. Because so many people hated it. It is a general...
It is agreed that it is a pretty bad film.
Yeah. And to... I don't know. I'm at a loss for words.
The winner that year was La Vie en Rose.
Oh,
the Edith Piaf story.
Yeah.
That is the kind of movie where it's like, yes, the makeup is incredible because we've made this character look like Marion Cotillard looked incredible in that film.
Absolutely.
And so, Norbert, you get your nomination. Congratulations.
But that's all you get.
But that's all you get. I thought this year that was going to be Star Trek. Star Trek was going to win.
Right.
And it would be an acknowledgement of a pretty great movie. A very enjoyable
it was all right.
Sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
We're in a position with Star Trek, right? Where you are presented information about a character and then you create it from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, we want it to have this cool makeup, we want to do this stuff, we want to try and we want it to look like this. We want to make a character that has a weird, nesty kind of spider's legs thing on the back of her head.
Trying new things.
They're designing them from the ground up.
Yeah.
Sophie Botella's character, who was the white-faced, black-lined female character.
That partnered up with Scotty.
Simon Pegg for most of the film. That's an incredible makeup job.
Yeah.
It's so appropriate for that kind of that character that they were trying to do. It's not just they didn't just slap a thing on her and say, yeah, she can look in the black lines.
A little bit of prosthetics and then blend it all into blue. Like she's not Mystique.
No, it was quite well. Like they had a purpose for it.
Yeah.
Whereas with Suicide Squad, you have all the information. They are doing makeup designs based on years and years and years of comic book history.
Yep.
Yet somehow these were.
You fucked it up.
All really bad versions of a lot of these.
Yeah.
It's the worst looking Joker I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Easily.
Very easily.
Like,
yeah.
No matter what, that photo when he first came out and everyone was like, he looks terrible, wait, he might be good. I didn't check out at that moment because I was on board look, maybe he'll perform it well.
Exactly.
But I did not like that design at all. And I knew that it would be like he was good, but I wish he didn't look like that. I always knew that was going to be the end result. Yeah. When you saw Heath Ledger's one, you knew exactly what they were doing, why they were doing that.
Scary.
Because it was making him a horror movie, a horror movie character.
Yeah.
That's like if the Joker was a horror movie villain, that's what his face would look like.
Yeah, yeah.
As like a slasher.
But yeah,
kind of
compared
character.
to what they did with Harley, where it kind of went to the opposite of what the character is, you're making a character like that slutty. It doesn't make sense. If you know her backstory, it didn't make sense at all.
Yeah, and so she just became eye candy, and then you've got characters like Killer Croc, which was a very effective something, but it wasn't.
But it wasn't a croc. It wasn't a crocodile.
Really, it was just.
It was a man.
It was weird.
Yeah.
El Diablo was kind of just a series of tats. Like it's fine. How hard is that to do?
Yeah.
And then most of the other stuff was kind of just bad CGI anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so, it just blew my mind because it really, the only thing you can think of is that they must have been rewarding probably Killer Croc's stuff, I guess.
Maybe.
Because it's really the only, and if they're acknowledging that Joker.
Horrible. Especially because of the amount of stuff. I remember when you watched Star Trek, the amount of stuff that you saw that went, oh, wow. Like you took a second and looked at it and went,
100%.
Jesus, that was amazing.
And that's what those movies have done very well. They have a really great sense of awe.
With CG. Like, that's clearly not CG, that's makeup. Like, that looks great.
Yeah. Or, I think they blended some of it together well to just, elements here and there just to kind of enhance it. But I found that kind of disappointing. And it's, it's also a bit kind of ridiculous to know that DC has an Academy Award, the DC film universe has an Academy Award, and yet somehow the Marvel film universe has escaped an Academy Award at this stage.
Completely.
Which, it's had some nominations for visual effects. I think maybe every now and then there's been maybe some art direction.
At least adapted screenplay for Winter Soldier.
No, it'll never get into screenplays. It will never get anywhere near that stuff, unfortunately.
That is fucked.
It blows my mind that it hasn't won a visual effects or an art direction or something like that. One of the Marvel films.
Visual effects.
It blows my mind.
On.
Should we talk about some of the bigger awards?
Yeah, sure.
So, big ones, as far as we're both kind of talking, I would consider everything from writing up to be the big ones.
Yeah, me too.
They're the kind of the important ones.
Fair deal.
Yeah.
Original screenplay, Tys. Well, how do you take adapted and original? Because for me, adapted is, well done. Original screenplay is the one where it's at. For me.
I think that's a little unfair, I think.
A little unfair?
Because I think the process of adapting something, and especially the rules that the Academy have for adaptation, like if your story was just based off a news article that you read 10 years ago that had no story elements whatsoever, it was just the facts that you based it on, you still have to claim adapted. Still have to claim adapted. Okay. They can be really stingy with it.
Some sort of narrative telling something.
No,
medium. That turned into a movie. Okay, cool.
And if you're writing anything that's even based remotely in real life, I believe you have to claim adapted.
Really?
I believe.
Yeah, maybe.
Especially if you've used any kind of autobiography to help you with your the ins and outs. You have to claim adapted.
So Ray and Walk the Line.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they always have to be adapted screenplay.
Okay.
So I have a bit more. I don't mind as much. I think you're right about original screenplay. I find that I'm drawn more to original screenplays when I see, because I like the idea of someone creating something from nothing.
From nothing, yeah.
And I totally agree. But yeah, I try not to have any kind of.
It's still you're still writing a screenplay to be honest. But yeah, the one that stands out for me in this category, which I really wanted to win, which didn't, was The Lobster. Have you seen?
No, I haven't seen The Lobster.
Okay.
I've heard it's fantastic.
This was original. This was really original, though.
Yes.
I really wanted this to win, and the fact that it didn't, it kind of crushed me. What did win?
Manchester by the Sea won.
Okay.
Look, Kenneth Lonergan was due.
He looking him up, he really was due.
He's very well respected. I've only seen one of his films. I saw, he's only made 3 or 4, I think. But I saw You Can Count on Me and thought it was excellent, really excellent. He's just one of those guys, one of those figures that people respond to him because he is an original creator. He's kind of like you've got your Charlie Kaufmans, you've got your Cameron Crowes even, to that extent. People that are acknowledged as being creators of original screenplays that have a reputation, and every time that you hear about one of their films, there is a certain kind of like
feel
buzz
to it,
attached to it.
Yeah.
So he was kind of due when this movie came out, and it was apparently as good as everyone said. It was a bit of a no-brainer that it was going to win. I think The Lobster's nomination is its victory, I think, for a film like that. Such a small festival movie that I know a lot of people loved, but a lot of people were really just...
It was weird. Don't get me wrong, it was very left field. But yeah. Kenneth Lonergan, he did write Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, Tys.
Oh, there you go. That's a bit of a miss on the old CV, isn't it?
But yeah. I did want Lobster to win.
Well,
but it was kind of in the same vein as Her winning last year. The fact that Her by Spike Jonze, was that last year?
I don't think that was last year. I think it was
the year
2014 or so.
But yeah, it was sort of like that. It was,
you get a Spike Jonze kind of character. I mean, that's like something like Charlie Kaufman for me is exactly that. I feel like every time he writes something, it breaks new ground in originality. Like, he seems to find ways to create films that just somehow top themselves in their ridiculousness yet effectiveness. Like when you have, Being John Malkovich, and then you move to adaptation, and then something like Synecdoche, New York.
It was amazing.
You're just the mind on this guy. The creativity, the imagination of him is just out of control. Whereas you have something like Kenneth Lonergan, who comes from a very realistic place, who writes very realistic dialogue and writes very insightful stories about real human things. Whereas, the Kaufman is more fantastical and more kind of the creativity explodes out of it. So there's kind of two different ways to think about it.
Yeah.
And they've both got their merits at different times.
Absolutely.
Look, it just depends what you're looking for, I guess, in a screenplay.
I'm not agreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you that Manchester by the Sea was well written. It was a little long, but that's sort of got nothing to do. Yeah,
I get where you're coming from, though.
But yeah,
is it more of a feat?
Do you know what I mean?
Of creativity to write something so unique like The Lobster compared to what is just effectively a good family drama.
Yeah,
I feel it. Yeah, totally.
Like you can kind of. With Manchester by the Sea, you could break that down into an hour episode of something, and that would still hit home.
Adapted went to Moonlight, though, I believe. Yes,
it did. Yes.
Well, there you go. Was there anything else in there that you thought maybe should have
adapted
at the post?
Not really. No. Well, Fences was good, but it was a play. So.
You feel like most of the work's already done for you?
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I feel that seeing the play of Fences is not going to take away anything from the movie. You could see both. I could be dead wrong here, but you could see both, and you could see subtle differences in each. But
apparently the adaptation was written by August.
Yeah, it was
before his death, and then was tinkered with by Denzel, but they gave full credit. So. I think in that scenario, you're rewarding the
movie by giving the nomination.
No, it's the ability to know what is going to work on film and what isn't. So it's almost like it's almost rewarding your choices of what to cut and what to focus on it's very. I don't disagree that taking a play and adapting that for a film would be far easier than taking, say, a journal article about a father and son from that era. But there's still artistic merit to the fact of being able to translate from one medium to the other.
Cool. Yeah, I agree.
Excellent.
Sorry. Totally went off book then.
It's all right. Yeah, Moonlight one. Yeah.
Moonlight, yeah.
Cool. So, I don't want to spend too much time on actor and actress because I just feel like that they were kind of it was always them the whole time.
Well, it was
Emma Stone.
Okay.
And Casey Affleck.
Yeah, this is where I have beef.
Okay. You have beef.
I have quite a bit of beef here.
All right, beef it up.
So Emma Stone, anyone could have played that role. Okay. Like I've said on La La Land before, don't get me wrong, I don't not like La La Land.
Sure.
I thought it was very well done. A lot of elements of it, made me smile, made me happy. I don't know about you, and this may be just me on my own, but if you're watching a movie, Tys, whether it be in the cinema or at home or whatever, and a movie hits you in the spine and you do get goosebumps from it.
Sure, absolutely.
If a movie can do that, and that's just me describing a feeling of a movie, what it does, but not that La La Land didn't do that. It just, I don't know, it just didn't have that effect.
Yeah, look,
do you know what I mean?
And that's,
so
that can't be quantified, that effect.
Yeah.
What I find interesting about, we might as well use this opportunity to just talk about La La Land a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
What I find interesting about the conversation surrounding La La Land is that the inability of a great number of people to objectively discuss a film that maybe just wasn't for them.
Yeah,
that just didn't work for them.
But this should have been for me.
I get what you're saying.
Do you know what I mean?
But at the same time, it's like it might not have been.
Maybe not have been. Yeah.
And
I love the ending.
There are so many people. Like I've read so many things about people that love it, and these are people that that do know what they're talking about. Just as many people that have said that they've hated it.
Yeah.
It's funny how, in any other circumstance, we will sit there and say and acknowledge the objectivity of film as art.
Yep.
If it was in so many other cases, we can step away from a movie and say it was shit, but it's just not for me. It's somebody's cup of tea. It's just not mine.
It's just not mine.
It blows my mind how much of this conversation has been people saying that it is flat out just a bad film. Oh. And I'm like, no,
it's
hang
not
on a
bad.
second. I think
no, it's not bad at all.
It's just not for you.
Yeah.
It's just something, it didn't work for you.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, it did work.
Yeah.
It really did work.
And that's good for them.
There's always backlash against a favorite,
yeah.
And there has been in years to pass.
Yeah.
You think of something like your Shakespeare's in Love or your Forrest Gump.
Yeah. Oh, God.
But these are movies that ended up winning as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But people look back on them now and kind of can see that we were just in a time.
Yeah.
We were caught up in a rush of the time.
Exactly.
And so these are the same people now that are making these kind of these grand statements about La La Land and causing this backlash. But I feel like this backlash is stronger than usual. It's like, do you know what I mean? Where people are almost have like an offensive reaction to this, and I don't understand it. Yeah, I've heard some. Like people, even just people posting on random Facebook things about, for some reason it's become like a conversation to say when you saw La La Land, you post your Facebook review of it. And, it's interesting because only certain movies end up having that result.
Yeah. Civil War.
Well, yeah, like, I think it was either Suicide Squad or Batman v Superman had a similar thing.
That's right.
I saw it all through my Facebook thing when 3 weeks after, finally saw it. Here's what I thought, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Everyone decides they want to have an opinion. That's cool. I started a fucking podcast. That's how much I wanted my opinion to be out there. But for this, it was like people were on a fucking mission, man. People came home from it and went, La La Land, fuck this shit. I hated this movie. It's so bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, man.
Jeez.
Like, where's this anger coming from? Where's this violence coming from? I can see a movie like that. Do you know what movie is a huge piece of shit? The King's Speech is a huge piece of shit.
Wow, big statement.
No, well, it's not really. Because it's an enjoyable film.
It's all right.
Objectively, like you step away from that, it is a piece of shit film.
Yeah.
Right?
My beef with King's Speech is a bit different.
Sure.
Because of the year of the other nominations.
Sure,
of
and
that
Social
year,
Network is a far better film.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and
Inception is better than Social
Inception's
Network. But
better,
still,
Like there are far better choices there. But that one, but people, there's
King's
none of that.
Speech, man,
there's
what
none of
the
that.
hell? Yeah.
There's none of that for
That's
King's
so-
Speech.
yeah.
King's Speech is a far worse movie than La La Land.
I think it's because so many people like it, because it's so nice, because I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? There's a weird level of outrage about this. The Artist, a very similar film, really, in its intentions.
Yeah. And that got nothing. Everyone loved that movie.
No. There were definitely
There were
detractors
people-
to that, but it was nowhere near as loud as this.
No.
For some reason, it's become like a personal vendetta to hate this film, which is a real shame because I don't think it matters either way. I think it's actually better for La La Land that it didn't win in the end, because now it won't be your Braveheart, your Forrest Gump,
exactly.
your Best Picture winner that people look back and kind of go,
like Braveheart?
I love Braveheart, but that's my personal opinion.
Right.
The general
It's
vibe,
the Forrest Gump,
yeah,
I know what you're saying.
is that people are going to look back and go, oh, I can't. It's The Crash, which I also quite like a lot, but people are still talking about how the fuck did Crash beat Brokeback?
Yeah,
and when I put them side to side, I completely agree. I think Brokeback is the better movie. I still think
Totally
Crash is a great movie though.
Yeah.
See,
that's the thing. Put La La Land in a position where it's not nominated at all, and no one would have looked twice.
Suddenly,
and it's a great film.
It's this quiet, great, beautiful film
like,
with
how good was
happiness
La La
in it,
Land?
and people
Yeah.
can say, "Oh, do you know what? It was really fun. It was really nice. I had a good time."
Exactly.
Suddenly, because you're going to it with this opinion that it has to be the best movie ever.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's not. Like, there won't be that. It's been acknowledged and I think rewarded for the things that it did well.
Yeah, exactly.
And ultimately didn't win, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And if it did win, in a couple of years, you wouldn't have given a fuck anyway. So I find this
I would have.
this
But
whole
still.
kind of environment around it, I find really
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
And that's fine. People are allowed
That's
to behave
okay.
that way, but you need consistency.
Yeah. Exactly.
Next year, if there's a really shit movie that happens to be that sleeper hit,
Yeah.
I hope to hear from all these people again. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
if you're gonna
yeah.
do it once, let's
Yeah.
come on, let's step up to the plate every year. Then let's have the
exactly.
conversation.
Let's talk about it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. But yeah, I just feel that there was no standout performance in that category for me. Like all of them were like, yeah, it was okay, but nothing, not as big as leading actor where I had major gripes. Like the fact that Denzel didn't get that for me was completely fucking ripped. And
sure.
Casey Affleck, I'm not saying he didn't do a good job. I'm just saying he didn't put in the effort that. And this is where it comes into a man that can juggle writing, directing, acting, which he didn't do much of the writing, granted.
Sure.
But he directed and starred in this thing, and
So
my
just as
God.
just
go on.
to spur conversation.
Oh, please do.
Should we be considering that though? Because we're here to award the acting performance.
We are. No, we are.
Should we consider the fact that it was directed as well?
No,
by
that's
him?
fine. If you want to cut him as the director, which clearly the Oscars didn't.
Yeah,
even,
sure.
Fucking hell, it pissed me off. Sure, just go on him just acting in that movie. It was way better than what Casey brought to the table.
And
Like,
look, if that's
this is
an
my
opinion, that's fine.
But still, like,
I feel like it's very clearly two different things. One, you're rewarding a very theatrical performance, which is
this is heavy. This is dialogue.
Yeah, but that's like an actor's thing.
Exactly.
He was kind of he was pitching it
acting
like old school,
He
like
was,
Marlon
yeah.
Brando in
Yeah.
Streetcar. Like
Exactly.
he's doing a thing.
Mm.
Casey's obviously going for a very understated, very simple, and
He's not phoning it in. I'm not saying he's phoning it in, but
it's what's your
very-
taste? What is not even what's your taste? What do you want to acknowledge?
What is but if you're going to give an award for the best acting of that year, what do you look for?
Do
you know, what do you look for?
But
What are you
other people
are you
are gonna
looking
look
are
for
you
other
looking
things.
into these things where this person is either acting producing or directing in it as
Sure.
well, or are you looking at the fact that the actor or actress gained weight,
Sure.
really got into like did massive amounts of history, the amount of dialogue that they're on, the screen time. That,
do you know it's very rare? It's incredibly rare for, and possibly never happened. I might need to double check the stats for someone to direct themselves to an Oscar.
To an Oscar, yeah. I think that'd be very rare. But
because that's what you're talking about. You can't. There is always going to be an element of splitting focus. I think.
Yeah.
And even films where the actors have directed their film to a win, something like Braveheart, Dances with Wolves, Unforgiven, these kind of films, the acting performance, and also let's even put on $1 Million Baby for that, Clint 2 times in a row, 2 times there. The acting performance of that person has not been acknowledged. They sometimes get they sometimes get nominated, but they.
Well, I guess that's where
win.
They were going with, because my other major gripe, even before this started, was when the nominations came out, and Denzel wasn't up for Best Director.
Sure.
And I had seen, I hadn't seen Fences at that point.
Okay.
But once I saw Fences, I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, I was really, it was a bit.
That's interesting. And you get to that point where sometimes I suppose you got to think, who do you cut for the other person? And if it's a matter of taste in the end, or if it's a true statement that you can honestly say, no, the direction was definitely better in this, but that's a huge statement. Yeah. And I don't think anyone, how can you make that? That's a really big statement to make, I think, in any regards. Yeah. It's saying that something is definitely better than another thing in what we do. Because it's the whole thing of what we're doing.
It's massively. I just feel that if you're going to have that many nominations for Best Picture, why can't you do...
Extend it a little bit more.
Just extend it a little bit more. Just with director, not with. Of course, you can do.
I have a real problem with the extension past the 5. Yeah. Anyway, so I don't want it. I don't want to hear about that as an option, because the expansion past the 5 is giving us all kinds of trouble, and this is giving us.
It's way too much.
It's too much, and this is why we're finding a lot of.
So Hell or High Water and Arrival and Hacksaw, to be honest, shouldn't have been in there for me.
Fair enough.
I would have cut them.
Yeah. I loved Arrival. Of the ones that I've seen, it's definitely my favorite.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was incredibly good. Yeah. But I see where you're coming from. For me, let's limit it to 5, because then you're forcing people
to pick something,
to have an opinion. Let's have an opinion, because
come on.
I mean, the nomination process is a convoluted mess. But what's ending up happening now, because of this we're going past 5. Yeah. We have an unknown number, right? The way it's done at the moment, we can have anywhere between 6 and 10. That is the way it's designed to work at the moment. It's a ridiculous
10.
concept.
Jesus Christ!
And it
2009 was it 2009? The year that we had fucking so many.
Well, that was the couple of years when it was actually designed for 10.
Right.
So we've changed the system again since then. Okay. There were 2 years where it was, we're going to have 10, and then they changed it to anywhere between 6 and 10 based on the voting.
Okay.
And so what's happening now is that we're getting these films like Hell or High Water, like Hidden Figures, that is up for Best Picture, but has only 2 other nominations.
Yeah.
And in things that don't equal a Best Picture nomination.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so that's leading us down a kind of interesting path, because then we end up having these movies like Hidden Figures and Lion that go Hell or High Water, that are Best Picture nominated and go home empty-handed, and are never really talked of again. And I think that's kind of what are we doing? Why are we bothering?
Yeah.
Anyway, and it also it causes all kinds of trouble in the voting process for me at the end. I think you're expanding your choices because it's a preferential system. You end up putting, for instance, the people that don't like. The only reason La La Land didn't win is because of the preferential system, because there was such a backlash towards it, that instead of it being a film that you would put 3rd or 4th or even 2nd, because it was just an enjoyable good time, perhaps
it was lovely.
You had people who were defiantly wanting to see it lose, who were putting it 10th.
Yeah.
Now, when you have a movie like Moonlight, which was everybody's 1st or 2nd or 3rd favorite film, regardless, that is always going to win.
Yeah.
I almost guarantee you, La La Land would have had far more first place votes, but it would have also had far more last place votes.
Yeah.
So we're getting to a situation now where the films like last year, where Spotlight was the one that snuck through. And I can't even think of the one the year before anymore. Birdman.
Birdman
is actually probably the exception to the rule, to be honest, because that was one that was quite a creative kind of choice.
Yeah,
but you are getting these films that are coming through that are more easily likable as opposed to
something that's a bit of a hard watch
that will split an audience.
Yeah.
And sometimes you want the split of the audience. Say what you want about something like The Revenant. To me, that I think it should have won last year because it should have won Best Picture because, like it or not, it was an incredible feat of filmmaking.
It was intense.
Spotlight is a good film, but it is a good HBO special.
Exactly. Like we said,
it's well written, well acted, well directed,
decent episode or a season of something. But no, yeah.
Revenant, and so if you tell me Revenant, you hated The Revenant, I can absolutely understand it, and I can fully appreciate why.
Yep.
But that's not what we're talking about here. We want films that are divisive. We want films that are huge expressions of people's artistic thoughts.
Exactly.
We don't want watered down movies of the week, just because it's a very good version of that. Anyway, that's my rant about the preferential system. I could go on for hours about it.
That was good though. No.
Let's talk about the big two.
Massive.
Director and picture.
Massive. Director. Well.
So this is what I'm talking about, because everything except Best Picture is based on a weighted ballot system. So whatever gets the most votes wins.
Yep.
So that's why La La Land was winning the ones that it was, because it had the most won votes.
Yep.
It didn't matter where people placed it in order. You pick one film out of those 5, and that is your vote. You don't rank them in any order. None of that noise.
Yep.
So it was always going to go to La La Land. It does, of course, raise the issue of how can the best film of the year not also be the best directed film of the year? Because
no, but that kind of happens a lot. I looked up.
No, well, it's incredibly rare until recently.
Yeah.
Which is when the preferential system started.
Comes in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back until about it happened. Don't get me wrong, it happened, but it was a shock when it happened. It was really something like
for what for
when the director and picture would split. It was a big deal.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
What year was that around? Do we know?
No. I mean, when they get won by different people.
Oh, okay.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Yeah,
to my memory, the only one I can think of at the moment is Traffic, Soderbergh, and Gladiator.
Right. Okay.
And
no, that's about it.
I'm blanking on others at the moment, except for the recent ones.
Yeah.
Spotlight, Revenant.
No, Birdman didn't win it.
No, the year before was a split as well. 12 Years a Slave, Gravity. It's becoming more prevalent now because the weighted system versus the preferential system. Oh. So we're actually going to see more of this going forward, I think.
Okay.
And I think it needs to be a forgotten kind of... until we go back to a completely weighted, you have to ditch the mentality that director and picture will be the same person.
No.
Because it just won't... It'll be more often than not the other way around, I think.
Yeah.
Unless it's a movie that is just universally agreed upon to be excellent. But I feel like we're not getting that very often anymore because people... We have such a soapbox now for everybody. Social media has provided an opinion for everybody.
Yeah.
Until then, a good movie was just worldwide acknowledged as a good movie because not every person in the world could get on Facebook and write an angry post about them not liking it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now that is so much more common, we're going to get this a lot more often.
Okay. So it kind of goes with that saying, I guess. But when you talk about the preferential system, do you like the fact that, well, in your head, do you prefer if so say because of Scorsese didn't win it for so long?
Yes.
Do you like it that they finally gave it to him for a movie that was just a remake?
Well, see, I think Departed's one of his best films, so I don't disagree with that.
Oh, absolutely. I don't disagree with it either. But do you think he should have got it for previous movies?
Oh, probably, yeah. Absolutely. But that's...
This is just the way that this system works.
That's just how it works sometimes. Like, good directors go... Hitchcock never won. Yeah, never won one.
Exactly.
Like, great directors just happen to miss their opportunity.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's no way around that. I just believe that the film that gets the most number one votes should be the winner. It should be as simple as that. The film that more people loved, not the film that most people thought was decent, You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like the film
Yeah.
that most people loved.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So your second and third choices are somewhat relevant, but it's about that first pick that I think is what we should be talking about.
I don't really have an opinion on the director because I kind of washed over it because of Denzel not being in there.
Sure. I will say this. Whiplash was my favorite film of that year.
Oh.
Damien Chazelle, I am 100% keen to see what you do next.
Yep. And that's all we need.
And that's all I need.
Yeah.
It's lovely that he's the youngest ever Best Director winner.
Yeah.
He's younger than me, and it makes me want to vomit.
Yeah.
That he has achieved so much in his life
already. Even just with those two films, he could retire. He's got his Oscar. He's done Whiplash. Yeah. Bang! You've got two things that are just massive.
So yeah, like more power to him. I hope he doesn't let the negativity surrounding this film influence his creative choices.
Yeah, exactly.
And then of course we had the fucking schmozzle of the evening.
Fucking hell.
What a disaster, man.
At the end of the day, though, they're just human. These fuck-ups do happen.
They do happen.
Unfortunately, they did have one job.
Yeah.
Like, yes, the fuck-up happened, but... And I've rewatched this thing about 10 times now.
It's pretty great to watch. You can see it all happen just in real time.
Like
the guy walking out the back,
with the
hubbub,
headphones,
checking the envelopes, going, what's going on?
The fact that there's two envelopes, you're like, hang on a minute, what the fuck?
So there are only two human beings in the world that know the winners before someone opens that envelope.
Yep.
And there's a wonderful book that I've read multiple times because it's one of my feel good books.
Yeah.
Called The Big Show, and it covered. It was, I think, from 1990 to 1999. It was just a decade worth of Oscar
talk
ceremonies.
Right.
And people would talk about all the goings-ons, the producers, how they decided on this, how they did this, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then the show itself.
Yeah.
And so these guys, these Price Waterhouse guys, that is the sweatiest job of the night. Could you, like, the pressure that is on you for that?
It'd be intense.
Your responsibility is not only to make sure that the right envelope gets in the right person, but to make sure that if anything happens when they're announcing that they are out there as quicker than you can say anything else to get it right. Because the worst thing in the world is if they up
there,
they got to where they got then before it's fixed. Yeah,
or
even could you imagine if you get off and then you finished your speech and then the next day it comes out you didn't actually, and like so their job, man, is intense. And look. It hasn't happened, but you've got to imagine like maybe a drunk angry actor.
Oh yeah,
seeing the name and going, I'm just going to say the other one.
Absolutely.
You never know. It could happen, and so these guys have a fucking pressurized job.
I've worked with this guy. He's a complete arsehole. I'm not going to give it to him. I'm going to give it to someone else. Yeah. Can you tell me that didn't happen for Best Actor this year because of the stuff around Casey?
Well,
fucking hell.
Look. It's an issue for another day.
Talk for another time. I just wanted to bring it up, but yeah, God, it was hard to watch, and especially because
we just need to cut everyone some slack. I think is the bottom line. I think
exactly.
I think it sucks, and but it proves the nature of live television. At the end of the day, the consequences of this are nothing. Is what I'm saying. Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
Compared to worldwide consequences,
it's going to
nothing.
Do fuck all.
World goes on.
Exactly.
Moonlight won Best Picture.
And because of that,
we're fine.
Now that Moonlight has won Best Picture, it is now back in, I read today, I think it's 15,000 cinemas have now showing
back on,
Moonlight.
1,500 screens overseas have put Moonlight back on, which is wonderful.
Not only is it all, like, to look at it now, like, because I had seen, it was towards the end of my list of nomination movies to watch, so I was kind of a bit overwhelmed. But watching it, tackling what it did, the fact with bullying, and the fact that this teenager was dealing with the fact that he was coming out as not coming out as gay, but he was identifying as a homosexual. He didn't know that yet, but yeah, and not only that, just the little performances that you get throughout the movie with the kids, and then it grow up to the older guys. The cinematography, that it all just came together, and now that I can sit back and kind of look at it, even after it did win, I'm like, yeah, it actually totally deserved to win. Just to see that guy, though, one of the producers of La La Land, because I watch it and you just see them just shatter. I don't want to shit on them too much, but I have to mention, because I've watched it that many times, where they finally, like, you hear it and you just see they're holding their Oscar and it just drops. Like, and you're like, fuck.
The guy...
And the only bit that I hate about the whole thing is the fact that Moonlight didn't get that
celebration moment.
You have just one bit,
which is a real shame, because that would have brought the house down. I think it really would have.
Absolutely. I just feel for them.
I want to give a shout out to I think it was Jonathan Hurwitz, Justin Hurwitz, the producer of La La Land, who I couldn't imagine having to do that.
You would be pissed.
And he didn't completely handle it fantastictically.
Oh, he wasn't, but he kept his cool.
He did it I think he did it as best as he could.
Oh, absolutely.
When he was like, "No, I'm not joking, guys. Get up here.
You've won.
You've won it."
And I want to give it.
There was a sense of, you could feel. I did like that because you could feel a little bit of animosity, but he did a really nice thing where he came back and said, "No, it would be my pleasure to give this to my friends for Moonlight." And I especially liked when the Moonlight director Barry Jenkins said, "I love these guys. We've been on tour with them." Doing the award circuits. We're all friends. Like, this is, so...
It's not as if they're enemies or anything
and
like
that. And that's it. I think at the end of the day, because you got to think they've done 7 of these already. 7 or 8 of these fucking award shows.
Yeah, exactly.
I think at the end of the night, they probably just get together and drink and go, "Oh, you got this one.
Yeah.
We'll see you at the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think, I honestly believe that between the two of them, there would have been a great celebration for that.
Yeah, at the end.
Yeah.
At the end. But he held hat off to him, because he held his own.
He did, and I don't think I could have done it, man. I think it would have been not out of anger.
Oh,
just
no,
sad,
because it's just a fuck
actually
up.
sadness and disappointment.
Yeah.
Because it would be like to have that high and to have it stripped away from you
really quickly on worldwide
I can't
television.
imagine that feeling.
Yeah.
And so he did it. He did a very good job considering
the ripping out of the hand of Thingo and just holding it up. I'm like, hold on, man, you can do it.
That's it. That was the moment where I was like, I think he's getting a bit.
Yeah, he was fucking living.
But
Jesus.
So But yeah, so that was Oscars, man. It was what a riot.
Yeah, man.
There's some interesting stuff going on.
It was full on.
I can't wait for next year. I always it's the most wonderful time of the year for me. It really is. The day is a special day. I do so much preparation leading up to it. Maybe not actually watching the films, which I should try and do, but I'm trawling through Awards Daily, Oscar Watch, Gurus of Gold, all these places that are giving me the facts and the statistics, and this has never won this while also winning this.
Yeah.
One of the funny things that I found is that there's a statistic that no film has ever won Best Picture without a SAG Ensemble nomination.
Oh, wow.
And everyone was so certain that this would be the year where that statistic would fall, because La La Land did not receive a SAG Ensemble nomination.
Oh, okay.
So the statistic still holds. Which is
good.
really quite interesting, because there are certain statistics that every year come up and you go, well, that's going to tumble. And it doesn't.
Shit.
And so really, if you want to know who's going to win, go to the stats. The stats are very, very reliable.
Jeez. Just a quick tidbit, Tys.
Yeah, I love a tidbit.
Do you want a tidbit?
Always.
I hate the word tidbit.
I'm okay with it.
Because I love... It's one of my biggest gripes with the Oscars is a really good speech.
Sure.
If someone could pull off a fuck off speech, where there weren't many memorable ones this year.
No, I wouldn't say that there were any.
But there was some nice. I did like that the foreign film.
The statement, the pre-prepared statement.
Yeah, he didn't want to. Yeah, I did like that. But yeah, so
the collective right wingers outrage.
Just
as that happened, you could feel it.
It
You could feel it in the universe.
So hilarious. But yeah, I do. One of my most memorable speeches is the fact that I'm gonna forget his name. Best actor won it for The Pianist.
Adrian
Brody. He was quite young when he won it.
Yeah.
They tried to play him off, and he literally told them to shut the fuck up because he only gets to do this once. That would be me. I would do that.
You do only get to do it once.
Exactly.
But we also don't want the show to go. It was a long show also. I found anytime you're almost pushing 4 hours. It's time to get out of there.
That's the thing. Maybe not have the busload of people come in, Tys. We got shit to do, you know.
Absolutely.
But yeah, my little tidbit was the Oscar speech. So you get 45 seconds to say your speech. That's how long it is.
Okay.
Now, the longest speech that's ever happened was Greer Garson, who won it in 1942 for Miss Minerva. I think I'm pronouncing it. 5 minutes 30 seconds.
No way.
Yeah.
I heard.
But I think like 5 minutes a speech. Like,
I feel like there's been a 7-minute speech. I feel like maybe I got it wrong.
Yeah. And the shortest speech, he didn't win one for.
I know.
Go on. You know this one.
This is Hitchcock's.
This is Hitchcock.
He said,
one word.
Did you just say thank you?
He just said thanks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it was because he got a lifetime achievement and actually never won.
He never
actually
won for
films.
best, which he was nominated for quite a few.
Yeah,
I didn't realize.
It's quite disappointing.
Yeah,
especially.
But that's all right. Like,
look, it's fine.
To be honest, at the end of the day, I don't really see like if Tarantino never won one, like he's still Quentin Tarantino. Like the films that he's done are amazing.
What we don't know at the time though is who is going to be the all-timer. Like, this is the things. Like, I don't think we're going to look back on Alfonso Cuarón.
Oh, I don't know about that. He's amazing.
He's an amazing director, but are we going to look back on him as an all-timer?
Yeah.
Inarritu, are we going to look back on him as one of the all-timers? He's the only director to win 2 best directors in a row. Yeah. But is he gonna stand the test of time? Is it in 50 years?
Yeah.
Are we going to look at his films the way we treat Hitchcock's now?
Yeah.
You know, that's very hard to tell what is going to become the all-timers.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't really begrudge them for that. But it's just a very interesting kind of fact that someone who
comes out with just
you've got to think about Hitchcock. He wasn't actually hugely respected in his day. His movies were kind of thought of as pulpy kind of, kind of sexy thrillers.
Yeah.
They weren't treated as like real art. And so now we talk about him.
But even now, like, so Scorsese, Woody Allen, they've had 7 nominations. This is just saying nominations, not wins.
Well, Scorsese's had just the one for director.
Yeah.
Woody Allen has had the one for...
I thought he had 2. I could be wrong, but I thought it was 1.
He's got Annie Hall.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's got another one.
No?
I don't know.
No.
Maybe.
Spielberg's got 6 nominations.
He's won for Schindler's List and for Saving Private Ryan.
Yes.
So he's doing okay.
But the all-time... So the director who's had the most nominations is... I'm going to say this right. Is William Wyler.
William Wyler.
Yeah. 12.
Ben-Hur. He directed.
Ben-Hur, yeah. Roman Holiday.
Yeah. But yeah, and that's a name
but
that
you don't know.
That's a name that a lot of people wouldn't know.
Yeah.
We love movies, so we know his name. People will know these films. They will absolutely know his films. But
absolutely.
He's not like he's not one of the superstars, like the rock stars of direction, like Hitchcock or Kubrick, and the names that everyone that rings a bell with everybody. I guess they kind of
change.
Yeah.
They change.
I don't know if anyone. I can't. Well, I mean, Tarantino is the closest thing we have at the moment. I think to that, someone who's going to
a rock star, as
like
a director.
that everybody knows their name. Who's a director? I'm talking like not Spielberg and Scorsese. They're
true.
They're the 80s and 70s.
I guess you're kind of right. No one people know who Nolan is, but not a lot of people know. Like, not everyone knows who he is.
No, I don't think he's. Yeah, no, he's not up there. It doesn't really exist at the moment. I don't think.
No, that's true. It is Quentin, and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, man. Hey, we're gonna
take a break, then do mailbag.
No, let's just get straight into it.
Fair deal.
So mailbag today. We got some mail. We get to open the mailbag this week.
Mailbag. Everyone loves a mailbag.
Oh,
no,
I don't like it. Nah, didn't work for me. Didn't work.
Let's
get a new one.
I was trying
new jingle. Anyone, send us a jingle.
Please send us a jingle.
Hey,
Otherwise,
we're making good time today, Nick, by the way. I just want to let you know, man. Yeah, we're doing good. So friend of the podcast, Mark Clifford, has sent us an email.
You rad Irish bastard. What have you got to say to me?
So, hey guys, Logan is out next week, and I can't wait to go see it. But, ! I can't help and think it will be a letdown because of a bad, air quotes, Bad guy, if you get my meaning.
Tys just did it.
Many superhero movies these days are let down by a shit bad guy or a B-class actor in an A-class role. Oh, interesting statement. DC seem to do this the most, which is why I think Marvel are hammering them constantly, but Marvel have had a few hit and misses too. That's interesting. Most people would say the opposite. Most people would say it's Marvel who have a bad string of villains. DC have nothing.
I think it's kind of
It's
even
all of them,
overall. DC don't have anything though.
So now we have Logan. Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart,
Hell yeah.
and we have Boyd Holbrook. The guy's great and all, loved him in Narcos, but for fuck's sake, all I'm saying is replace Boyd with someone like Matt Damon or Jason Statham, and we might not have these concerns.
That's right.
So guys, thoughts? Hey, thanks for the email, Mark. That's awesome, man.
Thanks, Mark. All the way from Ireland.
From Ireland.
Pretty sure it's Cork in Ireland.
My Irish accent
You're Irish.
is not great.
Your Irish accent.
I've had to do one before and it was sucked pretty
Oh, really?
bad.
How's your mother for turf?
What do you think, Nick?
Okay, so this is not just for superhero films. This is a rule for everything for me.
Yeah.
If you are going to do a black and white bad guy good guy movie, if you are going to have that sort of situation, let's say a Bond or a Mission Impossible or anything like that.
Yes. With clear good guys and clear bad guys.
Clear good guys, clear bad guys.
Yeah.
Your movie does not stand on the shoulders of the good guys. That's actually an easy job to do. Your movie stands on how bad the bad guy is.
Yes.
If your bad guy is bad, your movie will fucking rock it to the nines.
And you mean like bad, like in the good way? Like,
as in bad. He is a
bad to the bone,
guy.
baby.
You hate him. He gets to the point where... what's the name of the... in Game of Thrones, the female...
Joffrey.
Joffrey. There you go. Okay, so Joffrey was so bad that people hated him.
Yep.
People hated. He did such a good job, that kid. He will never work again. But
Unfortunately not, that poor kid.
He boxed himself in.
I just can't wait to see him pop up in like a romantic comedy or something, and everyone just terrified. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it for me, those types of situations, it lands on the bad guy being really bad. So for me, it's in the writing. Okay. Yeah, I don't know who's the actor that Mark said.
Boyd Holbrook is playing the bad guy.
Boyd very well.
I know his face from not from Narcos, actually, from something else that he has done, and I cannot for the life of me think of what it is.
Let's googs it.
Let's give it a googs. You got to say the whole thing.
I'm not
give
saying
it a googs.
I'm not saying it.
So I agree. It's in the writing. You don't think the performance? I think the performance
does have
is very important as well.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
You've got to think. Let's think of a really, like, to bring him up again tonight. And I don't mean to keep shitting on it.
Sure.
But let's talk about Jared Leto, an excellent actor.
Oh, sure.
Doing a horrible performance.
Yeah.
Giving just an awful performance.
Yeah.
And look, I don't think any of the dialogue that the Joker had was particularly bad. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. It wasn't fantastic. It wasn't like Heath Ledger stuff.
No.
But it wasn't,
It wasn't Mark Hamill.
Yeah, it wasn't Mark Hamill doing his gear man, like who is killer.
Seriously.
But it wasn't so bad.
But it wasn't bad that you couldn't watch it. No, but it wasn't a bad guy.
That his performance could have made it a reasonably good Joker.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He screwed the pooch with that performance.
Absolutely.
So I think I think we've got to give both ways. I think.
Yeah, totally. So what's Mark saying? Is Boyd
Are we worried?
Holbrook
Are we worried about
bland?
Logan? Do we think he's a bit bland? But yeah. So let's look at the recent Marvel stuff. And there's a worldwide acknowledgement that there is a villain problem.
Are you looking at Marvel? You're not looking at DC.
Let's just look at Marvel for a bit.
Look at Marvel, sure.
Yeah, well, because DC we don't have enough really to because Zod was whatever. It wasn't Zod.
It wasn't Zod.
The Joker.
Oh, big statement there, Tys.
No, he wasn't Zod. That wasn't the Zod that I know and love from Superman 2.
We're gonna get to it later. Yeah, and my most loved actor in the world, Mr. Lex Luthor.
Yeah, which also was a terrible performance, terrible writing.
Horrible.
But so let's just not worry about DC. Let's talk about
Marvel.
The fact that people say Marvel films are excellent, but their villains are no good. Do you agree with this statement?
No, I
don't agree with the statement either.
At all.
I think it's a really interesting, and I don't understand why it keeps getting brought up.
Yeah,
people when they're reviewing, it's like Marvel still have a villain problem, and I'm like, I like the villain in this.
About?
You name a villain, and they will usually
there will
be detractors
Yeah.
They
haven't been used sometimes to the best of their ability. The first thing that comes to mind is Iron Man 2. Though there were two sort of villains there. You had Justin Hammer, then you had Whiplash. That's where the writing kind of didn't help them. Like, they weren't bad guys for bad guys' sake because they didn't do anything bad.
Yes.
But they were great bad guys. They were insane bad guys. I love Justin Hammer.
Justin Hammer's excellent. He's really great.
I love him so much.
And look, whatever Mickey Rourke's doing, he's doing a thing, and it's really,
exactly. It's going to be interesting.
What's the bird thing? Like, how funny is
it's his hands. What the fuck is with his hands?
Do you know what I heard, that the bird thing
Yeah.
was just a Mickey Rourke thing?
Yeah, I heard that
where
as well.
he's like, I want a bird.
It's my bird. I want the bird on.
And now he spends the whole movie, where's my bird? Where's my boyd? Or whatever he said.
This is not my boyd.
This is not no.
This is not my boyd.
And I'm like, Jon Favreau,
dude,
tell him to get his shit together.
Kick him in the fucking teeth. What the fuck are you doing? Yeah.
Anyway. So, yeah, look, he's doing a really weird thing, but overall, I think he's reasonably effective.
Suit is problematic. Drone better.
But he's not awful by any stretch.
Exactly.
Jeff Bridges does really great work, I think,
Iron Man
as
awesome.
Obadiah.
Yeah.
One of my favorites is...
Guy Pearce.
Oh, I liked Guy Pearce a lot in Iron Man 3.
I think he was really good.
Yeah, I think he was really cool.
Yeah.
Very kind of that whole movie is all about what makes Tony Stark Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And I think they did a really clever thing by casting Guy Pearce as like the imitation Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Someone who does everything they can be to be like Tony.
Yeah.
Gets himself hot, loses all the weight, gets fit, gets a fresh haircut, discovers new technology, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But it all works out to shit. Because why is he not Tony? What is it about Tony that makes it Tony? And I think they did a really good job of showing that. I was on board 100%. Yeah. One that I really liked was Ronan the Accuser in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah.
Lee Pace. I thought he was excellent.
I love Lee Pace.
I thought he was really great. Terrifying.
Yeah.
Really great intensity.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is that people don't seem to be on board with these guys.
Yeah.
And I can maybe acknowledge that in some ways they appear to be wasted opportunities because they can't, but this is the point. They can't all be Loki. We need to have a Loki.
Yep.
Loki needs to be Loki.
Yep.
He needs to be
We've got him in there.
better than them.
Yeah.
They need to be able to be defeated.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, Loki becomes no better or worse than them.
Yeah, exactly.
If all of a sudden they're all surviving and they're all coming back to... it's like, no, but that's what makes Loki Loki, because he has hung around regardless. He's been defeated twice and still won't fucking go away. Yeah, so you need these guys to have their limited screen time. And I think whatever impact they make in that screen time, excellent. You know, maybe the fucking rat guy from Thor 2. No, he wasn't a rat. He was a goblin kind of elf. He was the dark elf. McKeelif. He's probably the least effective in my mind.
He's probably the weakest, yeah.
But he was, he did a job.
There are some in there like...
But that also has, in Thor 2, you've got the guy that is in the big... troll suit, who's awesome, terrifying, makes a really great impact in a very short amount of time.
But I love a bad guy who can do it really well to the point where I want them. Actually, no. It either works if I hate them, I absolutely fucking hate them and want them to die. Like you're in there with whoever superhero it is, like kill it, mother, Yeah. And then there are other times like Hugo Weaving's Red Skull, where you're like, don't kill him. This guy is amazing. Don't kill him.
Well, and I think they're smart enough to know that. Like you don't see Red Skull die. So it's kind of like they know when they're onto a good one.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? One that they want to give longevity to.
Exactly. Where someone like Ultron, even though a lot of people had... But I had bars with Ultron, sure.
He wasn't
with Age of Ultron.
Incredibly effective for me, but
I thought he did really well. I thought it was just a maniacal, twisted up, fucked up bad guy who was gonna die in the end. Of course he was, but Jesus, he was mad. He was totally insane.
And everything about that movie gets better the more I watch it. I've come around a long way on Age of Ultron. I didn't like it much when I saw it, and now I rank it quite highly up there. Ultron doing the same thing. I think if you go in with the frame of mind that there is a villain problem, you will find the villain problem.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the problem that's
Give him a
existing.
chance,
and
man.
it's not, no offense to Mark, but that's that to our friend from Ireland.
Yeah.
But this is part of the problem.
Yeah.
This conversation.
People say, exactly. People writing in that we have a problem with villains, and we really
and
don't.
because
We have a problem with...
then people will say, oh, let's analyze the problems with these villains, as opposed to saying, you know what, they're there to do a job and they're doing it pretty effectively.
Exactly.
We're living in a time where our stories are about the heroes in these, and all we need from our villain is to be a very effective counter to that. Yeah. Whatever our hero wants, the villain has to want it too, and want it more. Yeah. For a moment. Exactly. And our heroes have to find a way to get it back. Yeah. They all do this effectively. They all make memorable characters. I think. I don't like. This is why the one I don't know the name of, Micallef or whatever.
You're saying it right, Micallef. Yeah. He's
probably the least effective one, and he's the one whose name I don't remember. I know all the other ones' names
exactly
because they made an impact. They made a strong impact.
So good. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I'm not concerned about Boyd Holbrook, to be honest.
Boyd Holbrook, yeah.
I think it's. I'm going to wait and see what's going to happen.
He's in a movie that looks amazing.
It looks amazing. It's getting incredibly good reviews. I cannot fucking wait to see it.
Seriously.
Friday night. I'm so fucking pumped. Well, this podcast is going to land Friday, and I'm seeing it Friday night. So while people are listening to this, I'll be sitting in luxury watching some Logan.
Amazing. I have gold class tickets. I'm going to go see that.
Oh, gold class. That's good. That's going to be more enjoyable than me. I'll be with the schleps. All the other schleps.
I won't be the schleps.
But Mark, hey, thanks for your email, though, man.
Thanks, Mark.
Oh, that's awesome. If you want to send us anything,
man.
he does bring up good points. So I'm glad we got a chance to chat about it because, everyone can kind of chill. I think about that. Just go in and just have a good time.
But a lot of the people, I'm talking to the wrong people because a lot of the people that I talk to are like, I'm over Marvel movies. I'm like, well, that's fine for you, but unfortunately, but unfortunately for me, I've read comics for most of my life, and right now
this is a golden age for me. Like
sitting in it right now.
3 times a year, I get to see the movies that I used to have to wait 3 years to see.
Exactly.
Like that you would sit there and you'd hear this one rumor about a new Batman movie.
Yeah.
And you were like, for 2.5 years, you were like hanging on that maybe happening.
And then your parents would let you go see it. You'd go and see it, and then you'd have to wait like fucking 2 years for the VHS
to come out. We are living in an age where if I see a superhero movie that I maybe don't like, it's okay. There's going to be 2 more in the same year. Like it's a really like you know and. Like, I still watch all other movies, and they can coexist. It's fine, they can coexist.
It is.
Hey, send us an email, people.
Send us anything.
Nick Tys and Videotape at Gmail. You can tweet at us, Nick Tys Videotape. You can find us at Facebook. You can write on our wall on Facebook, maybe.
You can, yep.
And we'll see it.
On our wall. We will see it.
We'll see it, and we'll answer any of your questions, anything you want to talk about.
Tell us what you think about La La Land.
Yeah.
Tell us what you thought about
let's
the Oscars.
not open that door.
No, come on, we're opening the door.
Anyway, we're going to move on to our streaming section. Our section that has the official title, thank you for a friend of the podcast, Reed Jones.
Reed Jones.
Crossing the Streams.
Crossing the Streams.
I'm going to have to write a little kind of... Crossing the Streams. Crossing the Streams.
If anyone could write something for Tys.
Along those lines, please. Because I'm pretty happy with that.
Just write something else. Yeah.
Right.
Has to have Crossing the Streams in it. No, I'm kidding.
It has to have Crossing the Streams in it because that's our title for the time being.
Title, unless you want to make up a new one.
If you want to make up a new one, then the title gets moved from Crossing the Streams to whatever the new one is.
We have to stop it here, Tys, because I haven't picked mine yet.
Okay, well, I'm going to do mine.
Okay.
Maybe I'll do mine and you find yours while you're going.
Okay, well, I need that to do it.
All right. Hang on.
Yeah.
What do you want to use today? Do you want to use...
Give me Stan.
Stan?
I've had a lot of picks from Stan.
All right.
Stan is good. I know.
I'm going to keep this into this week, I think, for just a little behind the scenes.
I know that don't do it behind the scenes.
No, just a little bit of a here's what happens in Nick Tys and Videotape. We're not at all prepared.
We're not at all prepared.
Okay, well I'm going to do mine.
What are you going to do?
We got some sad news this week.
Oh.
We heard of the passing of Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton.
Who, and you know, we make no secrets of our love of 80s genre cinema.
Oh, man.
It's kind of our bread and butter. It's what we grew up with. It kind of formulated the kind of people we are. And Bill Paxton kind of played a big part in that when you got a guy that was in Terminator, Aliens.
So good.
Twister. Like, popped up in...
everything. True Lies.
Had a really strong relationship with James Cameron, clearly.
Yeah.
Near Dark. an absolute favorite of mine. Which is a Catherine
good.
Bigelow vampire movie. People, you want to get on that. It is
Near Dark.
it is
Yeah, I
one
still
of the
haven't seen it.
greats,
So
one of
it's
the
good.
great vampire films. And from what I heard, it was just a fucking killer dude as well. Like he was super sweet and
Titanic,
lovely.
everything.
So anyway, on Amazon Prime Video, which is a subscription service that is now available in Australia. It's still kind of early days. I think I've spoken about this already.
Tombstone.
Tombstone. Fuck.
He was in Tombstone.
Virgil.
Fuck.
Was he Virgil?
No, he was
Was he Virgil or was he?
No, he was Morgan Earp.
Morgan,
Yeah.
not Virgil.
Mm.
Fuck yeah, Tombstone.
Tombstone.
Amazon Prime Video, which is available now in Australia. It's still in its early days, so it doesn't have a huge selection, but I'm very much excited about what it's going to expand to. I'm going to recommend Apollo 13. 11? 13.
13.
I just freaked out for a second and went, fuck, what's it called again?
There is an Apollo 11 movie.
Apollo 13.
But yeah, Apollo 13.
Which is probably Ron Howard's best movie, I want to say, maybe.
Ooh. I don't know about that. Did you like the sound I made then? Ooh. It's up there.
I can't think of anything that I liked more.
I like Ransom. Ransom is up there for me. I love Ransom.
Yeah, that's a good movie. But
Fucking love Ransom. That's a bad guy. Gary
Sinise does a really killer job in that film.
Yeah.
He's terrifying. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. No, I'll pay that. Anyway, Apollo 13.
But Apollo 13.
Just it's the kind of event movie of its day. It was really like...
It was the first space movie for me. Like the first...
Yeah, okay, fair
do you know
enough.
what I mean? Like
I think
Alien and Predator and all of those, Lost in Space and Star Trek, sure, but this was the first real space film.
Yeah, well, I suppose for us, because we were probably a little bit too young for the right stuff, which was the...
yeah, man.
The John Glenn, the John Glenn film. Scott Glenn's the actor.
Yep.
So yeah, you're probably right. This was probably our first kind of like space exploration movie.
Yeah, man.
But I love this film. It's one of the most infinitely watchable films ever made.
I haven't watched it in ages.
But you will never get bored watching it.
Yeah.
I could
it's
watch
a thriller.
it.
It's on the edge. I remember
once a month for the rest of my life.
Once
I think.
A month?
I think
That's intense.
it's one of those movies, man. You just put it on and you're in.
Really?
You're in the experience. You're on board for it. You love like the whole Gary Sinise working out the all the ways that they've got to cut power. I love all the kind of problem solving that they do.
That they have to do on the go.
Yeah, and it's just such an iconic story. Everyone obviously, even though you know that it ends up that they all survive,
but still,
you're still on the edge of your seat watching
Exactly.
it, and that's a very effective storytelling method. Because how many times do you watch a movie when you know the ending? How many times do you get really involved about that?
Yeah.
But somehow this movie manages to do it. Like we know exactly what happens because not only because we've seen the movie before, but because it's real life. They survived. Yet we are honestly on the edge of our seat.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks is excellent in it. Kevin Bacon. Excellent in it. Gary Sinise, Ed Harris. It's a killer cast. It's a 90s killer cast too. It's like your go-to list of
prime,
90s
man.
guys,
In the
and they are all in
prime.
their prime.
Yeah.
And this was 93, I want to say.
Shit, really?
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
was also nominated for a bunch of Academy Awards. So it's kind of related to today's topic as well. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those movies everyone's seen. It's not like I'm surprising anyone by suggesting this, but in honor of Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton.
Sad to see you go, man.
I feel I have to pick a Bill Paxton now.
You don't have to.
My pick, which I quickly did because you're going to keep this in, hilariously enough.
Yeah.
My pick from Stan is a movie that I'm not sure a lot of people saw.
Yeah.
I hope you did see it. It's 2013, Short Term 12.
Oh, do you know what? I haven't seen it.
Brie Larson.
Yeah.
This is... No, this couldn't have been my first Brie Larson movie. No, that was
it would have been
Scott Pilgrim. But yeah,
which one is she in Scott Pilgrim?
She's the rock star.
Yeah. Now, my first exposure was definitely Superbad.
Oh, Superbad.
No, that's not her. Not Superbad. 21 Jump Street.
Oh, yeah. No, Superbad is
Emma Stone.
Academy Award winning
actress Emma Stone. No, 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, short term 12. It's a 20 something staff member of a residential treatment facility. So she's in a what is the Australian term for that? It's
respite care.
Sure. Navigates the troubled waters of the world alongside her co-workers and long-term boyfriend. So it's her just in the workplace dealing with the day-to-day.
Sure.
And there are some beautiful moments in this movie that
great.
really, really touch you. John Gallagher Jr.
I like him. Big fan.
Oh, he plays the boyfriend who...
yeah, he's great.
So obviously her going into... this job, she's only 20, but you kind of need a bit of life experience to deal with the fact that it's teenagers that she's helping out from broken families.
Sure.
or just dealing with all of these things. And it's just a beautiful movie. And she connects with one of the girls that has a similar story to her and kind of makes her deal with what she's ultimately dealing with.
Yeah, great.
In just such a beautiful way.
And she was Academy Award nominated, I believe, for that Best Actress. Nomination.
She was. Yeah.
So that's good. We've come full circle with our Oscars.
We have Short Term 12, man. Please, it's on Stan.
Stan, check it out. See, Stan's good
So
for a lot of
good.
those kind of movies that I think might have slipped past everyone's radar.
And I think this is why you want to do this, Tys, isn't you? The for people who haven't heard of Short Term 12.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to know who Brie Larson is because she's going to be Captain Marvel, and
she won Best Actress last year.
Yeah,
so
for Room.
God,
that was intense. I want to watch that again.
But
yeah, this is the reason why we're doing this,
exactly.
so you can see this.
Because when we live at the moment, we're kind of spoiled for choice a little bit, and it's nice because we've got so many choices.
But we're not at the video store. We can't walk down and see a cover that pulls us in and goes, "Fuck, look at that." Cover.
Unfortunately, for a lot of people who maybe not follow movies religiously, you'll see the title Short Term 12 and you'll scroll straight past it.
Exactly.
So maybe stop on it.
If you're
and
listening
give it a
to
watch.
this and go, Short Term 12, yeah, Nick talked about that on Nick Tys and Videotape. I like Nick. He's got a weird voice and I like his laugh. I'm going to watch it.
That's the exact conversation that they have. Okay, so, we're going to wrap it up, man.
That's it.
That's it for today. Where can people find us?
Hang on, wait. Just before we do this, this goes back a ways into Nick, and I'm sure we'll get to this at some point in this podcast, but I like to admit when I'm wrong.
Oh.
And
were you wrong?
It is. It's not Idris Elba. It's Idris. You were right, Tyson.
Idris Elba?
It's Idris Elba.
Really?
Yeah. I was wrong.
I was guessing.
I like to admit when I'm wrong because, I feel it's fucking character building, and not enough people admit when they're wrong. And I was wrong. It's the next Bond will be. No, it won't.
You're a man of strong character, Nick.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, that wraps us up for today.
That is.
Where can people find us, Nick?
You can find us on Facebook at Nick Tys and Videotape. I
don't think there's an and on that one, is there?
No, there is.
There is?
Yeah.
Great.
Nick Tys and Videotape.
Excellent.
The and is not in the Twitter. If you were to follow us on Twitter, which is at Nick Tys Videotape. And you can write us an email at nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com.
And this is Nick with just a C, no K.
Just a C, no K. There's no K in Nicholas, people.
Well, let's shout out to some of the people that helped us create our wonderful show. Our theme provided by...
Zac.
And Zac, has Zac got a SoundCloud or something?
He does have a SoundCloud. Let me just... I actually don't have it on here, but you know what? We're going to save it. We're going to put it up on the Facebook. So you can...
we'll put a link to it on the in the episode description and on Facebook.
Yeah,
also, shout out to Jac D for our artwork. She did a killer job with that. Thanks, you, Jack. Next week, we're going to tackle a 90s movie, if you can believe it.
Exactly.
Actually, we did 90s with Die Hard with a
Vengeance, that's true. But we're doing a lot of action, so we want to do something a little different.
It's still pretty much an action
No.
film. But no. It's a horror, action, crime, thriller hybrid. It is From Dusk Till Dawn. We can't wait to talk about that. I'm actually been looking for an excuse to watch this movie again
Rodriguez,
for a real long time.
Absolutely.
So I'm pumped to watch it and talk about it. I hope you'll join us all next week.
Please watch it, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Tys.
See you, man.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.